Come on. Alright. I said alright too early the first time. That was the second time I said it. But I think we're live now. I think I've done it. Hello. Yep, I got the notification on my other thingy. So we are 100% definitely for sure live. It is about that time. Once again. It's Percy time. As Percy would say, he says frequently throughout the book, in fact. Every time there's an action sequence, he goes, Annabeth, you know what time it is? It's freaking Percy time. But yeah. So, I'm sure some of you guys saw the video yesterday. And my friend had to stream, jump in, let you guys know that I was not going to be able to stream yesterday. I was held up. I was very annoyed. I was told that it would take... I would be free a lot earlier than I was. That was a lie. They lied to me. I was really hoping to get back, but I couldn't. So I was like, hey, bro, please let the people know I will not be arriving. But today is the day. Today is stream day once again. Second. I'm posting the shorts so people know. That's a thing that I do. How do I spell Labyrinth again? Labyrinth for the first time. Cool. Comments. Allow all the mean comments. Please and thank you. Alright, uploaded. We're good. Okay. So yeah. That's what it was yesterday. It was very frustrating. I really wanted to read. I really did. But today is a new day. And reading will happen. Because I am here. I'm kind of forgetting... Oh yeah. The only thing I read was chapter 10. That's the only thing I need to go over before we start again. Which is, you play the game show of death. Right? That's it? Yeah, that's where, freaking they call Bianca, and it's like, Bianca's like, listen, bro, get over it. I'm dead. It's okay. It's fine. People die sometimes. It is what it is. Don't bring me back, because I won't come. I'm good. And Nico's mad about it. He's upset. He's not trying to hear all that. But then he left. And then, what the hell happened after that? What the hell happened after that? Oh yeah, they go to the thing and they meet some dude. I forget. It's always some dude. Some freaking monstery dude. Hold on. It's really sad that even in death, Bianca wants nothing to do with Nico, bro. It's not like that. Also, welcome back, Anthony Belding. Welcome back into the chat. It's nice to see you again. Sorry I was not here yesterday. Shit happens. Shaughnessy Feeney, I see that you messaged a bit ago. Hopefully you're able to make it. If not, that's all good, bro. Hold on. What was the dude that said it? Oh, what was it? The person. No, it is ours. No, hold on. Okay, I don't know how I flipped back. I took one flip and I flipped back 20 pages. The Sphinx. It was a Sphinx. That's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. So yeah, the Sphinx was like, take a test, and Annabeth was like, this is bullshit, I'm gonna kill you. Because she was mad, and the Sphinx doesn't know what riddles are. So yeah. That was interesting. That was mostly a dig on standardized testing, which I thought was really funny. We got another example of Annabeth's fatal flaw. We did. That was the example of her fatal flaw. You're right. She was like, hey, fuck you, I'm smarter than this, you bitch. How dare you even think about insulting my intelligence like that? And then they had to dip and had to escape. They didn't kill her, they just fucking left. Yeah, that's all that happened. So I'm excited to get into these next couple of chapters. Mostly because you guys keep telling me that these are great, but also because I've just been thinking about, I've been missing reading Percy Jackson. I've been like it's been one day and I've been like, shit. I've been doing most shit. I wish I could read more Percy Jackson as I got. I'm so close to finishing the first series. I'm so close. Just 2 more read streams to go, and I'll be done. I don't know if I'll be able to stream tomorrow, because I got shit to do, but if I can, I will. I'm not gonna lie, if I was on the squad where my teammate was so offended that questions were too easy, I would be livid. Yeah, I would be too. I'd be like, bro, we've been dying out here. Like we've been running from Compes and all this shit, Children of Ares, and fighting 3-bodied men and flesh-eating cows and shit. Take the easy dubs. Take the easy dubs, bro. Come on, now. We can't be out here doing this. But yes. Yeah, that'd be pretty freaking annoying. I don't think I have too much to say beforehand because I only read 1 chapter. So there's not a lot of preamble to go on. So we're just gonna get right into the reading in 1 second here. Let me get my little pro streamer setup ready. The one and only pro streamer move setup. Mugetsu, whoa, you finally got a stream, bro. I've been seeing you commenting. It's nice to have you in here for the first time. Awesome, awesome. I don't know if this is your first time, but I don't know. It's definitely been a while, so at least. It's nice to have you in here at all. Very cool. Let me get up my pro streamer setup. The pro streamer moves that you are all very familiar with, and then we can get started in just a second here. Really excited for these chapters. I am too. I have no idea what to expect after that. There was no really foreshadowing. That was just like a funny chapter, but yeah. Here it is. I was talking in the middle of that, but then I read something I forgot. It's Bonnie Faye. Let's go. Welcome in. The whole squad's here. I mean, the squad kind of changes, but it's mostly you, Bonnie, and Anthony. But yeah, you guys are here. It's always nice to have you guys. Boom. Pro streamer setup once again. Ooh, look at me go. Ooh, one of these days I'm going to be lazy enough to make this a lot cooler than just this picture. But today is not that day. And I guarantee you, tomorrow ain't that day either. But one day soon. Maybe before Heroes of Olympus. Because I know I'm going to take a break of doing this, stream some other stuff before that. Maybe before then, I will. We're getting views up with... Come on. There's like a thing in front of your thing. I wish I could read it. Well... We're getting views with this something up. Something. I don't know why YouTube decided it would be a good idea to put this random marker in front of the corner of the chat so nobody could read anything you were saying. We're getting views with this. Oh, we're getting views with this setup. Okay, cool. There's like a random heart emoji in front of the chat right here. I've never even pressed this. What does this do? I don't know what this does. But I've just pressed it. So maybe you guys got some sort of notification. I have no idea. But yes, we're getting views with this setup. We do indeed. This is peak YouTube right here, is what this is. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Let me respond to this text message, and then we will get into it. I don't know what to say. Let me give me a second to think. Okay. Cool. Let's get into this here thingy. So I've been waiting too long to read these chapters. Oh yeah. If these next chapters are anywhere near as long as the last few, we're going to be here for a while. Yeah, I don't know how long these chapters are. I don't. But I'm expecting to be here for 3 hours, which is why I did it at 5 today instead of 8. That's the time it is for me. I was like, let me try to do this a little bit earlier than I usually do. So yeah. Alright. This chapter does have an interesting title, though. I set myself on fire. I thought we'd lost the spider until Tyson heard a faint pinging sound. Made a few turns, backtracked a few times, and eventually found the spider banging its tiny head on a metal door. The door looked like one of those old-fashioned submarine hatches. Oh, submarine hatches. Oval. What? Okay. With metal rivets around the edges and a wheel for a doorknob, where the portal should have been, was a big brass plaque, green with age, with the Greek Eta inscribed in the middle. We all looked at each other. Ready to meet Hephaestus? Grover said nervously. No, I admitted. Honestly, fair. Most of the gods have been terrifying or weird. So, yeah. Or just, like, not necessarily terrifying, just, like, intimidating. Yes, Tyson said gleefully, and he turned the wheel as soon as the door opened. Yeah, did we lose it when we saw the Sphinx? I kind of forgot about that while I was reading the Sphinx bit. Because we were running for a while. Yes, Tyson said gleefully, and he turned the wheel as soon as the door opened. The spider scuttled inside with Tyson right behind it. The rest of us followed, not quite as anxious. The room was enormous. It looked like a mechanic's garage with several hydraulic lifts. Some had cars on them, but others had stranger things. Stranger things. A bronze hippolochatoncron with its horse head off and a bunch of wires hanging out of its rooster tail. A metal lion that seemed to be hooked up to a battery charger, and a Greek war chariot made of entirely flames. Oh, a flaming chariot. That's cool. Smaller projects cluttered a dozen work tables. Tools hung along the walls. Each had its own outline on a pegboard, but nothing seemed to be in the right place. The hammer was over with the screwdriver. The staple gun was where the hacksaw was supposed to be, under the nearest hydraulic lift, which was holding a '98 Toyota Corolla. A pair of legs stuck out. The lower half of a huge man in grubby pants and shoes even bigger than Tyson's. One leg was a metal brace. The other scuttled straight under the car, and the sounds of banging stopped. Well, well, a deep voice boomed from under the Corolla. What have we here? I love how my boy Hephaestus has had like thousands of years to get organized. He was like, nah, fuck that actually. Fuck that organized shit. This is, organization is a tool for the cowards. The mechanic pushed out a back trolley and sat up. I'd seen Hephaestus once before, briefly on Olympus, so I thought I was prepared, but his appearance made me gulp. I guess he'd cleaned up when I saw him on Olympus, or used magic to make his form seem a little less hideous. Here in his own workshop, he apparently didn't care how he looked. He wore a jumpsuit smeared with oil and grime. Hephaestus was embroidered over the chest pocket. His leg creaked and clicked in the metal brace as he stood, and his left shoulder was lower than his right. So he seemed to be leaning even when he was standing straight up. His head was misshapen and bulging. He wore a permanent scowl. His black beard smoked and hissed. Every once in a while, a small wildfire would erupt in his whiskers, then die out. Whoa, that's cool. His hand, like Endeavor from My Hero Academia, that's cool. Man, that sounds like a normal tool shop. Yeah, it definitely does. His hands were the size of catcher's mitts, but he handled the spider with amazing skill. He disassembled it in 2 seconds, then put it back together. There, he murmured, much better. The spider did a happy flip in his palm, shot a metallic web at the ceiling, and went swinging away. Hephaestus glowered up at us. I didn't make you, did I? Annabeth said, no, sir. Good, the guy grumbled. Shoddy workmanship. Damn! He really said, you are ugly. You don't remember her? She was on Olympus, yeah. He said to Annabeth and me, half-bloods, he grunted. Could be automatons, of course, but probably not. We've met, sir, I told you. Have we? The guy asked absently. I get the feeling he didn't care one way or another. He was just trying to figure out how my jaw worked, whether it was a hinge or a lever. Well then, if I didn't smash you to a pulp to a pulp the first time we met. I suppose I won't have to do it now. He looked at Grover and frowned. Satyr. Then he looked at Tyson and his eyes twinkled. Well, a Cyclops. Good, good. What are you doing? What are you doing traveling with this lot? Tyson said, staring in wonder at the god. Yes, well, he said. So there better be a good reason you're disturbing me. The suspension on this Corolla is no small matter, you know. Sir, Ambas said hesitantly, we're looking for Daedalus. This Corolla is about to be the craziest thing. I'm calling it right now. They're about to take this Corolla into battle or some shit. It's about to be the craziest thing ever. If Hephaestus can take apart and put back together his mechanically advanced fighter like that, this Corolla is about to be crazy, bro. I guarantee you. This Corolla will be something similar. The show version surprised me since I always had this in my head for him. Yeah. Now I'm thinking why they would go this route for the show when he has like this description. Like he seems like a much older, like a tinkerer dude in the show. This one he just seems like a ugly Chad. You know what I mean? Yeah, same with the show version of Hades. Yeah, the show version of Hades is different too. But I kind of like the show version of Hades more. He's kind of chill. It's just funny. It's like, yeah, I'm the god of death. It is what it is. Supposed to be dying. So what? Sir, Ambas said hesitantly, we're looking for Daedalus. We thought, Daedalus, the god roared. You are that old scoundrel. You dare to seek him out. His head burst into flames and his black eyes glowed. Yes, sir, please. Dang, so he really can just ignite fire like that. Show Hades is a little zesty. I like it, though. I like his whole personality. It's fun. You're wasting your time. He frowned at something on his work table and limped over to it. He picked up a lump of springs and metal plates and tinkered with them. In a few seconds, he was holding a bronze and silver falcon. It spread its metal wings, blinked obsidian eyes, and flew around the room. In front of his work table, limped over, he picked up a lump of springs and metal plates and tinkered with them in a few seconds. Yeah, if he's making this shit fast, like falcon shit that fast, then this car is about to be something crazy. Tyson laughed and clapped his hands. The bird landed on Tyson's shoulder and nipped his ear affectionately. Hephaestus regarded him. The god's scowl didn't change, but I thought I saw a kinder twinkle in his eyes. I sense you have something to tell me, Cyclops. Tyson's smile faded. Yes, Lord. We met a hundred-handed one. Hephaestus nodded, looking unsurprised. Briareus? Yes, he was scared. He would not help us. And that bothered you. Yes, Tyson's voice wavered. Yes. Briareus should be strong. He's older and greater than Cyclops's. But he ran away. Hephaestus grunted. There was a time I admired the hundred-handed ones, back in the days of the First War. But people, monsters, even gods change, young Cyclops. You can't trust them. Look at my loving mother, Hera. You met her, didn't you? How do you know that, if you didn't know who we are? I feel like you should know, if you know we met her, then you should know who we are, to be honest. You met her, didn't you? She'll smile to your face and talk about how important family is, eh? Didn't stop her from pitching me off Mount Olympus when she saw my ugly face. But I thought Zeus did that to you, I said. Hephaestus cleared his throat and spat into a bronze spittoon. He snapped his fingers and the robotic falcon flew back to the work table. Mother likes telling that version of the story, he grumbled. Makes her seem more likable, doesn't it? I wonder if this is Rick amending the mythology a little bit to change it for the book, or if it actually, or if I just don't know my mythology that well, and Hera is actually the one who threw him off. I don't hate it. I just imagine Hades as a 1,000-year-old emo kid with hair covering his face. that's kind of what I imagine too. I'm not gonna lie, like kind of like skinny Madara, if you know what that looks like. Makes her seem more likable, doesn't it? Blaming it all on my dad. The truth is, my mother likes families, but she likes a certain kind of family. Perfect families. She took one look at me and, well, I don't fit the image, do I? He pulled a feather from the falcon's back, and the whole automation fell apart. Believe me, young Cyclops, Festus said. You can't trust others. All you can trust is the work of your own hands. Seemed like a pretty lonely way to live, but I didn't exactly trust the work of Hephaestus. One time in Denver's mechanical spiders had almost killed Annabeth and me, and last year it had been defective. Tallow statue that cost Bianca her life. Another one of Festus's little projects. He focused on me and narrowed his eyes, as if he were reading my thoughts. Oh, this one doesn't like me, he mused. No worries, I'm used to that. What would you ask of me, little demigod? We told you, I said. We need to find Daedalus. There's this guy, Luke. He's working for Kronos. He's trying to find a way to navigate the Labyrinth, so we can invade our camp. If we don't get to Daedalus first, and I told you, boy, looking for Daedalus is a waste of time. He won't help you. Why not? Hephaestus shrugged. Some of us get thrown off mountainsides. Some of us, the way we learn not to trust people, is even more painful. Ask me for gold, or a flaming sword, or a magical steed. These I can grant you easily, but a way to Daedalus, that's an expensive favor. Interesting. He seems a lot more giving than any of the other gods. Yo, Shaughnessy Feeney, you made it, let's go! There's a version of the myths both happening. I love when Rick does that. Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, that makes sense. There would be two versions of the myth, because they're myths. But I love when Rick... What, you love when he amends the myth for the story? When he changes stuff to make it fit this? Because honestly, I think this has just as much validity as the myth. Because the myth isn't true either. I mean, hopefully it is. But, like, the myth isn't true either. This is basically the same thing, so he can technically do whatever he wants, and people can just accept the Percy Jackson canon is basically just a continuation of Greek mythology. If they really felt like it, because, like, it treats itself as, like, Greek mythology DLC, to be completely honest with you. You know where he is, then, Annabeth pressed. It isn't wise to go looking, girl. My mother says looking is the nature of wisdom. Hephaestus narrowed his eyes. Who's your mother, then? Athena. Figures, he sighed. Fine goddess, Athena. A shame she pledged never to marry. You're married to Aphrodite, but she's a hoe, so I guess it doesn't matter. Alright, Half-Blood. I can tell you what you want to know, but there is a price. I need a favor done. Name it, Annabeth said. Hephaestus actually laughed. A booming sound like a huge bellows stroking a fire. Ho! You heroes, he said. Always making rash promises. How refreshing. I love that. Like the gods being like, heroes are all the same. I love that. Like, it's like, oh, another hero coming along. And I love, like, how hero is used in this. Not as, like, something great. Or, like, something... It is kind of great and it is kind of epic, but in, like, a mundane sense. As, like a legacy of, like... Not even a legacy, just, like, a path of heroes that have been left in history. It's not like when you see hero in, like, Marvel or like any other thing. That's just like, that's a freaking hero. That's my hero right there. It's just like, oh, a hero. Oh, it's a hero. You know what I mean? Like, it's cool. He pressed a button on his workbench. Metal shutters opened along the wall. It was either a huge window or a big screen TV. I couldn't tell which. We were looking at a gray mountain ringed in the forest. It must have been a volcano, because smoke rose from its crest. One of my forges, Hephaestus said. I have many, but that used to be my favorite. That's Mount St. Helens, Grover said. Great forests around there. You've been there? I asked, looking for, Pan. Wait, Annabeth said, looking at Hephaestus. You said it used to be your favorite? What happened? Hephaestus scratched his smoldering beard. Well, that's where the monster Typhon is trapped. Used to be under Mount Etna, but when we moved to America, his force got pinned under Mount St. Helens instead. Great source of fire, but a bit dangerous. There's always a chance he will escape. Lots of eruptions these days, smoldering all the time. He's restless with the Titan rebellion. What do you want us to do? I said. Fight him? Hephaestus snorted. That would be suicide. The gods themselves ran from Typhon when he was free. Pray you never have to see him, much less fight him. We're gonna have to fight him. And last Olympian, I guarantee you we're gonna have to fight him. I'm calling him right now. But lately I have sensed intruders in my mountain. Someone or something is using my forges. When I go there, it is empty, but I can tell it is being used. They sense me coming and they disappear. I send my automatons to investigate, but they do not return. Something ancient is there. Evil. I want to know who dares invade my territory, and if they mean to loose Typhon. You want us to find out who it is, I said. Aye, Hephaestus said. Go there. They may not sense you coming. You are not gods. Glad you noticed, I muttered. Go and find what you can, Hephaestus said. Report back to me, and I will tell you what you need to know about Daedalus. All right, Annabeth said. How do we get there? Hephaestus clapped his hands. The spider came swinging down from the rafters. Annabeth flinched when it landed at her feet. My creation will show you the way, Hephaestus said. It is not far through the labyrinth. And try to stay alive, will you? Humans are much more fragile than automatons. To them, heroes are basically errand boys. Yeah, and I love that. I love how it's used. It's used as it's like, oh, a police officer. Like that's how it is. You know what I mean? Like a police officer, how like a mayor would see them. Oh, it's just a police officer. It's like John Goodman's voice is what I used for Hephaestus. John Goodman, you mean is John Goodman the guy in Top Gun Maverick? The guy who is like, it's like Maverick. You fly for the Navy, or you don't fly for anybody ever again. Is that the guy? You fly for Top Gun, you don't fly for anyone at all. Is that him? We were doing okay until we hit the tree roots. The spider raced along and we were keeping up, but then we spotted a tunnel off to the side that was dug from raw earth and wrapped in thick roots. Grover stopped dead in his tracks. What is it? I said. He didn't move. He stared open-mouthed in the dark tunnel. His curly hair rustled in the breeze. Come on, Annabeth said. We have to keep moving. This is the way, muttered Inal. This is it. What way? I asked. You mean to Pan? Grover looked at Tyson. Don't you smell it? Dirt, Tyson said, and plants. I fucking love Tyson, dude. Everything he says, man. Yes, this is the way. I'm sure of it. Up ahead, the spider was getting farther down the stone corridor. A few more seconds and we'd lose it. We'll come back, Annabeth promised. On our way back to Hephaestus. The tunnel will be gone by then, Grover said. I have to follow it. A door like this won't stay open. But we can't, Annabeth said. The forges. Grover looked at her sadly. I have to, Annabeth. Don't you understand? She looked desperate, like she didn't understand it at all. Where is Percy gonna go? Because we're only gonna see the side that Percy goes to. And to be honest, I want Percy to follow Grover. That's what I want from him. The spider was almost out of sight, but I thought about my conversation with Grover last night, and I knew what we had to do. We'll split up, I said. No, Annabeth said, that's way too dangerous. How will we ever find each other again? And Grover can't go alone. Tyson put his hands on Grover's shoulder. I will go with him. I couldn't believe I was hearing this. Tyson, are you sure? Listen, man, I get it. Tyson and Grover have to bond, but I want to see Grover find Pan. You know what I mean? The big guy nodded. Goat Boy needs help. We will find the god person. We will find the god person. I'm not like Hephaestus. I trust friends. Grover took a deep breath. Percy, we'll find each other again. We've still got the empathy link. I just have to. That's true. They do have that. I didn't blame him. That was his life's goal. If he didn't find Pan on this journey, the council would never give him another chance. I hope you're right, I said. I know I am. I never heard him sound so confident about anything, except maybe that cheese enchiladas were better than chicken enchiladas. They're not. They aren't, but whatever. Be careful, I told him. But I looked at Tyson. He gulped back a sob and gave me a hug. I just about squeezed my eyes out of their sockets. Then he and Grover disappeared through the tunnels of the tree roots and were lost in the darkness. This is bad, Annabeth said. Splitting up is a really bad idea. I knew they'd have to do it eventually, though. I knew that was a thing they were going to do eventually in the labyrinth. Because why would you make a labyrinth that shifts all the time and no splitting up happens? I feel like it's just a missed opportunity. We'll see them again, I said, trying to sound confident. Now come on, the spider is getting away. That's him. Okay. That's a good voice. I don't know. He just said deep voice, and I just pictured that. That's what I did. Glad to see you again. Last time I was here, you were debating if Bianca was alive or not. Oh, really? Oh, you haven't been there since then? That's like mid. Dang, you haven't been here since mid Titan's Curse, and now we're mid. What's this book called? Battle of Labyrinth. We're mid this one. So you missed what? 2 streams? Is that it? I think you only missed 2 streams. Yeah, cool. Nice to see you again, man. How is that Snavia, Jack Chase? Man, I'm glad I didn't spoil that. It was kind of sad how we continued to mention that Bianca was coming back. Yeah, I was like, Bianca's like, cause like that's like not how you kill off a character. Like nobody ever like, and honestly, I really love that Rick did it. I really love that Rick did it like that, because you don't kill off a character on the screen like that. Even in the prophecy, like, prophecies are vague, it says someone will be lost. Lost can mean they just don't know where they are anymore. So, like, it was like, I think Rick wanted to be like, that thing was like, okay, they're coming back. No, they're coming back for sure. And then until Bianca, like, that, like, until that happened, where Nico was like, I had visions. I didn't think Bianca was dead at all. No, for sure. Can we talk about how stupid it is that they satyrs have to prove themselves worthy to look for Pan? Like it's some great honor, not something they all want. True. It's like everybody wants to find Pan. Why the crap are we even, like, why aren't we all just going? Why is this just a thing? Like, you have to be qualified. People don't even come back. People don't even, maybe that's why. Because they don't want to keep losing satyrs all the time. Maybe that's why. No, I'm late. It's all good, Amy. We're like only halfway through maybe we're halfway through chapter 11. So I don't think you've missed much. We just met Hephaestus, and Grover just left with Tyson to go find Pan, and we're with Annabeth. So that's all you missed. So I don't think you've seen too much. We're still through this. We're still through this. Right. It wasn't long before the tunnel started to get hot. The stone walls glowed. The air felt as if we were walking through an oven. Also, hi, Amy. I forgot to say hi. Hello. Nice to have you again. The stone walls. The air felt as if we were walking through an oven. The tunnel sloped down. I could hear a loud roar, like a river of metal. The spiders skittered along with Annabeth right behind. Hey, wait up! I called her. She glanced back at me. Yeah? Something Hephaestus said back there about Athena. She swore never to marry, Annabeth said, like Artemis and Hestia. She's one of the maiden goddesses. I blinked. I'd never thought about I'd never heard that about Athena before. But then, how come she has demigod children? I nodded. I was probably blushing, but hopefully it was so hot anyway that Annabeth didn't notice. Percy, you know how Athena was born? She sprung from the head of Zeus in full battle armor or something like that. Exactly. She wasn't born in the normal way. She was literally born from thoughts. Her children are born the same way. When Athena falls in love with a mortal man, it's purely intellectual. Ooh, that's cool. That's really cool. I like that. She falls in love with the intellectual, not the physical. She's the opposite of Aphrodite. That's why they hate each other. That also kind of makes sense why, I think Artemis and Athena will get along really well, probably. When Athena falls in love with a mortal man, it's purely intellectual. The way she loved Odysseus in the old stories. It's a meeting of minds. She would tell you that's the purest kind of love. I agree. It's more than just, it's purely the person as it is, not anything to do with a sexual, which I think is purer than that. See, your dad and Athena, I was a brainchild, I said, literally, children of Athena are sprung from the divine thoughts of our mother and the mortal ingenuity of our father. We are supposed to be a gift, a blessing from Athena on the men she favors. But, Percy, the spider's getting away. Do you really want me to explain the exact details of how I was born? No, that's okay. I do. I want to know. Tell me more later. She smirked. I thought not, and she ran ahead. I followed the exact details of how I was born, because Percy could tell you how he was born. Percy could tell you. Anyways, the sea wasn't the only thing wet that day. Anyways, I'm done. I'm done. And then she ran ahead. I followed, but I wasn't sure I would ever look at Annabeth the same way again. I decided some things were better left as mysteries. After another half mile or so, we emerged in the cavern the size of a Super Bowl stadium. Our spider escort stopped and curled into a ball. We had arrived at the forge of Hephaestus. There was no floor, just bubbling lava hundreds of feet below. We stood on a rock ridge that circled the cavern. A network of metal bridges spanned across it. At the center was a huge platform with all sorts of machines, cauldrons, forges, and the largest anvil I'd ever seen. A block of iron the size of a house. Creatures moved around the platform, several strange dark shapes, but they were too far away to make out details. We'll never be able to sneak up on them, I said. Eve picked up the metal spider and slipped it into her pocket. I can wait here. Hold it, I said. Before I could argue, she put on her Yankees cap and turned invisible. Wait. Em picked up the metal spider and slipped it into her pocket. I can wait here. Hold it, I said. Okay. Oh, so... Wait, is Annabeth saying that? I think Percy's saying that. No, Percy's saying. I don't know. Regardless, Annabeth's ditching him. I didn't dare call after her, but I didn't like the idea of her approaching the forge on her own. If those things... Yes, that was Annabeth saying, I can wait here. Oh, I can wait here. This is why punctuation is important, kids. I can wait here. I just didn't see the period. This is why you always read punctuation. This is the whole reason. And people can get their license revoked. Like, we will no longer allow you to go on this dangerous journey to find our God. Honestly, that's kind of stupid. And now imagine Annabeth's dad shocked when she shut up. Yeah, honestly, it's almost like me and your mother made you together with our brains. Bruh. Okay, bro. Alright. I didn't like the idea of her putting the forge on her own. If those things out there could sense a god coming, would Annabeth be safe? I looked back at the Labyrinth tunnel. I missed Grover and Tyson already. Finally I decided I couldn't stay put. I crept along... Yeah, of course not. Of course you can't. I crept along the outer rim of the lava lake, hoping I could get a better angle to see what was happening in the middle. The heat was horrible. Garion's Ranch had a winter wonderland compared to this. In no time, I was drenched with sweat. My eyes stung from the smoke. I moved along, trying to keep away from the edge, until I found my way blocked by a cart on metal wheels, like the kinds they use in mine shafts. I lifted the tarp and I found it was half full of scrap metal. I was about to squeeze my way around when I heard voices from up ahead, probably from a side tunnel. "Bring it in," one asked. "Yeah," another said. "Movie's just about done." Movie? I panicked. I didn't have time to back up. There was nowhere to hide except the cart. I scrambled inside and pulled the tarp over me, hoping no one had seen me. I curled my fingers around Riptide, just in case I had to fight. The cart lurched forward. "Oi," a gruff said. "Thing weighs a ton." "It's celestial bronze," the other said. "What do you expect?" I got pulled along, turned a corner, and from the sound of wheels echoing against the walls, I guess we had passed down a tunnel into a smaller room. Hopefully I was not about to be dumped into a melting pot. If they started to tip me over, I'd have to fight my way out quick. I heard lots of talking, treading voices that didn't sound human, somewhere between a seal's bark and a dog's growl. There were other sounds too, like an old-fashioned film projector and a tiny voice narrating. "Just set in the back," a new voice ordered from across the room. "Now, younglings, please attend to the film. There will be time for questions after." The voices quieted down, and I could hear the film. As a young sea demon matures, the narrator said, changes happen in the monster's body. You may notice your fangs getting longer, and you have a sudden desire to devour human beings. These changes are perfectly normal and happen to all young monsters. Monsters are watching puberty films. That's hilarious. And is that to say that? Are they saying that monsters eating humans is like sex for humans, for monsters? Like, that's monster sex? Is that how new monsters get born? They eat humans and then they give birth? Like, is that how that happens? Like they shit out a new monster? Excited snarling filled the room. The teacher, I guess it must have been a teacher, told the younglings to be quiet, and the film continued. I didn't understand most of it, and I didn't dare look. The film kept talking about growth spurts and acne problems caused by working in the forges and proper flipper hygiene. And finally it was over. "Now, younglings," the instructor said, "what is the proper name for our kind?" "Sea demons," one of them barked. "No. Anyone else?" "Tokenies," another monster growled. "Very good," the instructor said. "And why are we here?" Revenge! Revenge! That's fucking funny. Yes, but why? "Zeus is evil," one monster said. "He cast us into Tartarus just because we used magic." "Indeed," the instructor said. "After we made so many gods, the finest weapons, the trident of Poseidon for one, and of course we made the greatest weapon of all, of the Titans." "We made the greatest weapon of the Titans. What weapon is that?" "Nevertheless, Zeus cast us away and relied on those fumbling Cyclopses. That is why we are taking over the forges of the usurper." the usurper Hephaestus, and soon we will control the undersea furnaces, our ancestral home. I clutched my pen sword. These snarling things had created Poseidon's trident? What are we talking about? I never even heard of Telkany. And so, younglings, the instructor continued, who do we serve? Kronos, they shouted. And when you grow to be big Telkanies, will you make weapons for his army? Yes! Excellent. Now we've brought in some scraps for you to practice with. Let's see how ingenious you are. There was a rush of movement, excited voices coming toward the cart. I got ready to uncap Riptide. The tarping was thrown back. I jumped up, my bronze sword springing to life in my hands, and found myself facing a bunch of dogs? Well, their faces were dogs, anyways, with black snouts, brown eyes, and pointy ears. Their bodies were sleek and black like sea animals, with stubby legs that were half flippers, half foot, and human-like hands with sharp claws. If you blended together a kid, a Doberman pinscher, and a sea lion, you get something like what I was looking at. A demigod, one snarled. Eat it, yelled another one. That's as far as they got. I slashed a wide arc with Riptide and vaporized the entire row of monsters. Dude! Prepubescent monster killing. That's crazy. Hold on. Nah, I think we're just calling puberty-ridden teenagers monsters, which is not wrong. No, I don't think he would say that. He's writing for them. He's writing for peak puberty teenagers. So yeah. Propaganda. This is true. We are in America. It's definitely propaganda. But also, from their perspective, they're not wrong. Back off! I yelled at the rest, trying to sound fierce. Behind them stood their instructor, a 6-foot-tall Telkany with Doberman fangs snarling at me. I did my best to stare him down. New lesson class, I announced. Most monsters will vaporize when like the celestial bronze sword. This change is perfectly normal. It will happen to you right now if you don't back off. Let's go, Percy. That's probably one of the first quips I've heard him tell. I haven't heard Percy say many quips. To my surprise, it worked. The monsters backed up, but there were at least 20 of them. My fear factor wasn't going to last. I jumped out of the cart and yelled, "Class dismissed!" and ran for the exit. The monsters charged after me, barking and growling. I hoped they couldn't run very, very fast with those stubby little legs and flippers, but they waddled along pretty well. Thank the gods that there was a door on the tunnel leading out to the main cavern. I slammed it shut and turned the wheel handle to lock it. But I doubted it would keep them long. I didn't know what to do. Annabeth was somewhere invisible. Our chance for a subtle reconnaissance mission had just been blown. Yes, because it was your fault, but I would have done the same thing, so it's fine. I ran toward the platform at the center of the lava cake. Annabeth! I yelled. Probably don't yell that. They don't know she's here. They shouldn't know she's here. Shh! An invisible hand clamped over my mouth and wrestled me down behind a big bronze cauldron. You want to get us killed? I found her head and took off the Yankees cap. Shivered into existence in front of me, scowling, her face streaked with ash and grime. Percy, what is your problem? We're going to have company, I explained quickly about the monster orientation class. Her eyes widened. So that's what they are, she said. Telkanies. I should have known. And they're making... Well, look. He peeked over the cauldron. In the center of the platform stood 4 sea demons. But these were fully grown, at least 8 feet tall. Their black skin glistened in the firelight as they worked, sparks flying. As they took turns hammering on a long piece of glowing hot metal. The blade is almost complete, one said. It needs another cooling in blood to fuse the metals. Aye, a second said. It shall be sharper than before. What is that? I whispered. Annabeth shook her head. They keep talking about fusing metals. I wonder. They were talking about the greatest Titan weapon, I said, and they said they made my father's trident. The Telkanies betrayed the gods, Annabeth said. They're practicing dark magic. I don't know what exactly, but just banish them to Tartarus. Hold on. With Kronos, she nodded. We have to get out. No sooner had she said that than the door to the classroom exploded with young Telkanies came pouring out. They stumbled over each other, trying to figure out which way to charge. I honestly thought it was gonna be Luke in here. I thought it was gonna be like Luke and some other people, but it's these things. Another part of his army that's Luke separate. To be fair, they were gonna eat him. This is true. Yeah, no, they were. They were definitely about to eat his ass. That was not. It was for sure about to happen. They stumbled over each other, trying to figure out which way to charge. Put your cap back on, I said. Get out. What? Amber said. What? Amber shrieked. No, I'm not leaving you. I've got a plan. I'll distract them. You can use the metal spider, maybe. It'll lead you back to Ephesus. You have to tell them what's going on. But you'll be killed. I'll be fine. Besides, you've got no choice. That was the first burp of the stream, and I already hate myself. I hate this happens. Amber glared at me like she was going to punch me. And then she did something that surprised me even more. She kissed me. What? Like... What? 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 Wait. Or like on the lips? Like, like she... No, she's kissed him on the cheek before. Percy would have said that. What? Percy's best forever, apparently. This is where it happens? Left me speechless, dude. It's a wrap. All the other girls lose. We weren't even gonna look at my girl Rachel Elizabeth Dare. We weren't even gonna think about it. It wasn't even gonna peer into our brains. Apparently not. Apparently we're not even gonna look at my girl Rachel Elizabeth Dare. Where is she, by the way? I was hoping she'd be a part of this book, but I guess not. I guess she'll be a part of the next one. I need to read that again. Amber glared at me like she was going to punch me. And then she did something that surprised me even more. She kissed me. Nah, dude. Rachel. Apparently that's what Percy's thinking right now. Dang. Percy was so wrong about her having feelings for Luke still. That's crazy. I didn't know that's where their first kiss happened. I straight up did not expect that. I didn't expect them to kiss until like the last Olympian, dude. What the fuck? Be careful, seaweed brain. She put on her hat and vanished. I probably would have sat there for the rest of the day, staring at the lava and trying to remember what my name was. Same. I still do that. To this day. The sea demons jarred me back to reality. There! One yelled. The entire class of Telkenes charged across the bridge toward me. I ran for the middle of the platform, surprising the 4 elder sea demons so much they dropped the red-hot blade. It's about 6 feet long and curved like a crescent moon. I'd seen a lot of terrifying things, but this unfinished whatever it was scared me worse. The elder demons got over the surprise quickly. There were 4 ramps leading off the platform, and before I could dash in any direction, each of them had covered an exit. The tallest one snarled, "What do we have here? A son of Poseidon?" Yes, another growled. I can smell the sea in his blood. That's cool. They can tell which kid is which. Dang. So if you really want to have a correct ass, like if you really want the unclaimed kids to know, bring at least one of these guys. Be like, hey, they're just gonna smell around. There you go. Now you know. I raised Riptide. My heart was pounding. Strike down one of us, demigod, the third demon said, and the rest of us shall tear you to shreds. Your father betrayed us. He took our gift and said nothing as we were cast into the pit. You will see him sliced to pieces, he and all the other Olympians. I wished I had a plan. I wished I had been lying to Annabeth. I wanted to get out safely, and I'd hoped she'd been sensible enough to do it. But now it was dawning on me this might be the place I would die. No prophecies from me. I would get overrun in the heart of the volcano by a pack of dog-faced sea lion people. The young Telkenes were at the platform now too, snarling and waiting to see how their 4 elders would deal with me. I felt something burning against the side of my leg. The ice whistle in my pocket was getting colder. If I ever needed help, now was the time. But I hesitated. I didn't trust Quintus's gift. I forgot about that. Before I could make up my mind, the tallest Telkene said, "I want to see how strong he is. I want to see how long it takes him to burn." He scooped up some lava out of the nearest furnace. It set his fingers ablaze. This didn't seem to bother him at all. The other elder Telkenes did the same. The first one threw a glop of molten rock at me and set my pants on fire. 2 more splattered across my chest. I dropped my sword in sheer terror and sorted my clothes. Fire was engulfing me. Strangely, it only felt warm at first, but it was getting hotter by the instant. Your father's nature protects you, one said. Makes you hard to burn. Oh. Okay. Interesting. I didn't know that. She rebooted his brain. Yeah, bro. He was like, what? What? Like, that's exactly what happened. Not makes you hard to burn, but not impossible, youngling. Not impossible. That's interesting. So he's not the only one. Tyson isn't the only son of Poseidon immune to burning. So Tyson is double immune to burning. He has a double immunity to that shit. They threw more lava at me, and I remember screaming. My whole body was on fire. The pain was worse than anything I'd ever felt. I was being consumed. Oh, my boy's actually burning. He's actually on fire. I crumbled to the metal floor and heard the sea demon child howling in delight. Then I remember the voice of the river naiad to the ranch. The water is within me. I needed the sea. I felt a tugging sensation in my gut, but I had nothing around me to help. Not a faucet or a river, not even a petrified seashell this time. And besides, the last time when I unleashed my power at the stables, there had been that scary moment when it had almost gotten away from me. I had no choice. I called to the sea. I reached inside myself and remembered the waves, the currents, and the endless power of the ocean, and let it loose in one horrible scream. Afterwards, I could never describe what happened. An explosion, a tidal wave, a whirlwind of power, simultaneously catching me up and blasting me downward into the lava. Fire and water collided, superheated steam, and I shot upward from the heart of the volcanoes in a huge explosion. Just one piece of flotsam thrown free by 1,000,000 pounds of pressure. One piece, haha. The last thing I remember before losing consciousness was flying so high Zeus would never have forgiven me, and then beginning to fall. Smoke and fire and water streaming from me. I was a comet hurtling toward the earth. What the fuck? What the fuck? No, I can't wait to see that in the show. What the hell? My boy just basically had an anime anger moment where he's like, and then fucking water just... So Percy can just like create water? Literally launch from the volcano. Yeah, I'm so curious what happened here. He could just create water out of nothing? Is that pretty much what it is? The reveal of what he actually can do in the next chapter is shock. Oh! Okay, let me shut the fuck up. Let me shut the fuck up. Hold on. Let me take a swig of water and get right back to reading. He just pissed everywhere. That's fucking funny. It's out of him. Lava's liquid, so if he can create it from a shell, he can create it from that, is what I thought. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, they don't tell you quite yet. Okay, alright. I took my swig. I'm ready to go. Next chapter. Dang, was I actually reading that shit for 50 minutes? That shit flew by. That still was a long chapter I was reading for 50 minutes, though. I like my canon better. Percy in the live action just pees his pants and just pees his pants. And then he just like grow bigger and then the water just... No, that'd be terrible. I'd actually hate that. Wait, hold on. Alright. Next thing. Chapter 12. I take a permanent vacation. Ooh, also, please show me Pan soon. If Grover's actually finding him. I woke up like I was still on fire. My skin stung. My throat felt as dry as sand. I saw a blue sky and trees above me. I heard a fountain gurgling, and I smelled juniper and cedar and a bunch of other sweet-scented plants. I heard waves too gently lapping on a rocky shore. I wondered if I was dead, but I knew better. I'd been to the land of the dead, and there was no blue sky. Yeah, imagine previewing what it's like when you're dead. That's crazy. Percy did that shit. I wish I could. I tried to sit up. My muscles felt like they were melting. Stay still, a girl's voice said. You're too weak to rise. She laid a cool cloth across my forehead. A bronze spoon hovered over me, and liquid was dribbled into my mouth. The drink soothed my throat and left a warm, chocolatey aftertaste. Nectar of the gods. Then the girl's face appeared above me. She had almond eyes and a caramel-colored hair braided over one shoulder. She was 15? 16? It was hard to tell. She had one of those faces that just seemed timeless. She began singing, and my pain dissolved. She was working magic. I could feel her music sinking into my skin, healing and repairing my burns. Whoa! Wait, no, he says, Who? I croaked. Shh, brave one, she said. Rest and heal. No harm will come to you here. I am Calypso. Okay, Calypso. I barely know who you are. The only thing I know about you is what Pirates of the Caribbean told me, but we're about to find out more. The next time I woke, I was in a cave. But as far as caves go, I've been in a lot worse. The ceiling glittered with different colored crystal formations. White and purple and green. Like I was inside one of those cut geodes you see in souvenir shops. I was lying on a comfortable bed with feather pillows and white cotton sheets. The cave was divided into sections by white silk curtains. Against one wall stood a large loom and a harp. Against the other wall were shelves neatly stacked with jars of fruit preserves. Yes, dried herbs hung from the ceiling, rosemary, thyme, and a bunch of other stuff. My mother could have named them all. There was a fireplace built into the cave wall, and a pot bubbling over the flames. It smelled great, like beef stew. I sat up, trying to ignore the throbbing pain in my head. I looked at my arms, sure that they would be hideously scarred, but they seemed fine. A little pinker than usual, but not bad. I was wearing a white cotton t-shirt and a cotton drawstring pants that weren't mine. My feet were bare. In a moment of panic, I wondered what happened to Riptide, but I felt my pocket, and there was my pen, right where it always appeared. Not only that, but the Stygian ice dog whistle was back in my pocket too. Someone had followed me, and that didn't exactly reassure me. So does the thing have the same curse as Riptide? With difficulty, I stood. The stone floor was freezing under my feet. I turned and found myself staring into a polished bronze mirror. Holy Poseidon! I muttered. I looked as if I'd lost 20 pounds. It looked as if I'd lost 20 pounds I couldn't afford to lose. My hair was a rat's nest. It was singing at the edges like a Festus beard. It was singed at the edges like a Festus beard. If I saw that face on somebody walking down a highway intersection asking for money, I would have locked the car doors. Damn, Percy being honest, but that's how we all feel. I turned away from the mirror. The cave entrance was to my left. I headed toward the daylight. The cave opened into a green meadow. On the left was a grove of cedar trees, and on the right a huge flower garden. 4 fountains gurgled in the meadow, and each shooting water from the pipes of stone satyrs. Straight ahead, the grass sloped down to a rocky beach. The waves of a lake lapped against the stones. I could tell it was a lake because, well, I just could. Fresh water, not salt. The sun sparkled on the water and the sky was pure blue. It seemed like a paradise, which immediately made me nervous. You deal with mythological stuff for a few years, you learn that paradises are usually places where you get killed. The girl with the braided caramel hair, the one who called herself Calypso, was standing at the beach, talking to someone. I couldn't see him very well in the shimmer from the sunlight of the water, but they appeared to be arguing. I tried to remember what I knew about Calypso from the old myths. I'd heard the name before, but I couldn't remember. Was she a monster? Did she trap heroes and kill them? If she was evil, why was I still alive? I walked toward her slowly because my legs were still stiff. But the grass changed to gravel. I looked down to keep my balance, and when I looked up again, the girl was alone. She wore a white sleeveless Greek dress with a low circular neckline trimmed in gold. She brushed at her eyes like she'd just been crying. Well, she said, trying for a smile. The sleeper finally awakes. Who are you talking to? My voice sounded like a frog that had spent time in a microwave. Oh, just a message, she said. How do you feel? How long have I been out? Time, Calypso mused. Time is always difficult here. I honestly don't know, Percy. You know my name? You talked in your sleep. I blushed. Yeah, I've been, told that before. Yes. Who is Annabeth? Dang, he was talking about Annabeth in his sleep. Oh, a friend. We were together when... Wait, how did I get here? Where am I? Calypso reached up and ran her fingers through my mangled hair. I stepped back nervously. I'm sorry, she said. I've just grown used to caring for you. As to how you got here, you fell from the sky. You landed in the water. Just there. She pointed across the beach. I don't know how you survived. The water seemed to cushion your fall. As to where you are in Ogygia. She pronounced it like Ogygia. Thank you, Rick. Thank you for that. Is that near Mount St. Helens? I asked, because my geography was terrible. I love how this part is just bolded because the printer was off on the book. Calypso laughed. It was a small restrained laugh. And she found me really funny, but didn't want to embarrass me. She was cute when she smiled. It wasn't near anything, brave one, she said. Ogygia is my phantom island. It exists by itself, anywhere and nowhere. You can heal here in safety. Never fear. But my friends, Annabeth, she said. And Grover and Tyson. Yes, I said. I have to get back to them. They're in danger. She touched my face. I didn't back away this time. Rest first. You are no good to your friends until you heal. As soon as she said it, I realized how tired I was. You're not an evil sorceress, are you? She smiled coyly. How would you think that? Well, I met Circe once, and she had a pretty nice island too. Except she liked to turn men into guinea pigs. Calypso gave me that laugh again. I promise I will not turn you into a guinea pig. Or anything else. I am no evil sorceress, Calypso said. And I am not your enemy, brave one. Now rest. Your eyes are already closing. What the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going on? What the actual... How long has it been? Where are we? Where's Annabeth? Where's Tyson? Where's Grover? I need these questions answered. What the fuck? What the fuck? She was right. My knees buckled, and I would have landed face first in the gravel if Calypso hadn't caught me. Her hair smelled like cinnamon. She was very strong, or maybe I was just really weak and thin. She walked me back to a cushioned bench by the fountain and helped me lie down. Rest, she ordered, and I fell asleep to the sound of the fountains and the smell of cinnamon and juniper. The next time I awoke, it was night, but I wasn't sure if it was the same night or many nights later. Fuck. I was in the bed, in the cave, but I arose and wrapped a robe around myself and padded outside. The stars were brilliant. Thousands of them, like you only see way out in the country. I can make out all the constellations Annabeth had taught me. Capricorn, Pegasus, Sagittarius. And there, near the southern horizon, is the constellation of the Huntress, a tribute to a friend of ours who had died last winter. The constellation Zoe. That's crazy. Percy, what do you see? I brought my eyes back to Earth. However amazing the stars were, Calypso was twice as brilliant. I mean, I've seen the goddess of love herself, Aphrodite, and I would never say this out loud, or she'd blast me to ashes. But for my money, Calypso was a lot more beautiful because she just seemed so natural. Dang, he really said Aphrodite was a fake ass hoe. That's crazy. So this is truly Isabella Merced, and Aphrodite is just like I don't know, someone less beautiful than Isabella Merced. Never mind. Somebody else, like Millie Bobby Brown or some shit. Like she wasn't trying to be beautiful and didn't even care about that. She just was. With her braided hair and white dress, she seemed to glow in the moonlight. She was holding a tiny plant in her hands. Its flowers were silver and delicate. I found myself staring at her face. I forgot. She laughed gently. Well, as long as you're up, you can help me plant these. She handed me a plant, which had a clump of dirt and roots at the base. Tell me where I am! The flowers glowed as I held them. Calypso picked up her gardening spade and directed me to the edge of the garden, where she began to dig. That's moonlace, Calypso explained. It can only be planted at night. I watched the silvery light flicker around the petals. What does it do? Calypso mused. It doesn't really do anything. I suppose it lives. It gives light, provides beauty. Does it have to do anything else? I suppose not. Dang. I like that. I like that sentence. She took the plant and our hands met. Her fingers were warm. She planted the moonlace and stepped back, surveying her work. I love my garden. It's awesome, I agreed. I mean, I wasn't exactly a gardening type, but Calypso had arbors covered with 6 different colors of roses, lattices filled with honeysuckle, rows of grapevines bursting out, and red-purple grapes that would have made Dionysus sit up and beg, "Where are we?" That's great and all. Where the fuck am I? Back home, I said, my mom always wanted a garden. Why did she not plant one? Well, we live in Manhattan, in an apartment. Manhattan? Apartment? I stared at her. You don't know what I'm talking about? You don't know what I'm talking about, do you? I fear not. I haven't gone to Digia in a long time. Well, Manhattan's a big city with not much gardening space. Calypso frowned. That is sad. Hermes visits from time to time. He tells me the world outside has changed greatly. I did not realize that it changed so much you could not have gardens. Why haven't you left your island? She looked down. It is my punishment. Why? What did you do? Nothing. I'm afraid my father did a great deal. His name is Atlas. Ooh! My girl. I'm sorry. I kind of kicked your dad's ass a little bit last summer. Sorry, last winter. You have to forgive me. I beat his ass. Please don't be mad at me like Clarice is about kicking her dad's ass. It figures that the one time Percy's danger sense goes off, it's when he is safe. Yeah. Yeah, honestly. Usually he's like, oh, whoopty-doopty-doo, what the fuck is this? Oh, shit, what a crazy thing this is. Honestly, that's not true. At the beginning of this book, he saw some cheerleaders, and they were like, Percy Jackson. He was like, that's never good. That's never good. Unnaturally beautiful? Yeah, like, I guess, like a girl who doesn't need makeup versus a girl who needs makeup type deal is like the only way I guess I can explain it. Like a plastic surgeon, like plastic surgery almost, versus someone who's just born that way. Imagine like someone who's beautiful because they have a mountain of makeup and plastic surgery versus someone, versus someone who's natural. Yeah, I just explained that. Boom. I think you got it. Well, he is learning. This is true. He's learning. He's slowly getting that shit. That's why when he was like, Percy Jackson, I spent 3 quests learning, 3 books being like, nah, I know. Let's not do that shit anymore. The name sent a shiver down my back. I met the Titan Atlas last winter, and it had been not a happy time. She tried to kill pretty much everyone I cared about. Still, I said hesitantly, it's not fair to punish you for what your father's done. I knew another daughter of Atlas. Her name was Zoe. She's one of the bravest people I've ever met. Could have studied me for a long time. Her eyes were sad. What is it? I asked. Are you healed yet, my brave one? Do you think you'll be ready to leave soon? What? I asked. I don't know. I moved my legs. They were still stiff. I was already getting dizzy from standing up so long. You want me to go? Her voice broke. I'll see you in the morning. Sleep well. What the fuck? I was too confused to do anything. But watch until she disappeared in the dark. Okay. I don't know exactly how much time passed, like Calypso said. It was hard to keep track on the island. I knew I should be leaving. At the very least, my friends should be worried. What happened to Grover and Pan? That's what I need to know. That's what I need to find out. At worst, they could be in serious danger. I didn't even know if any of them had made it out of the volcano. I tried to use my empathy link with Grover several times, but I couldn't make contact. I hated not knowing if they were alright. On the other hand, I really was weak. I couldn't stay on my feet for more than a few hours. Whatever I'd done in Mount St. Helens had drained me like nothing else I'd ever experienced. Now I'm really curious what the fuck he did. I didn't feel like a prisoner or anything. I remember the Lotus Hotel and Casino in Vegas, where I'd been lured into this amazing game world until I almost forgot everything I cared about. But the island of Ogygia wasn't like that at all. I thought about Annabeth, Grover, and Tyson. Constantly, I remembered exactly why I needed to leave. I just couldn't. And there was Calypso herself. She never talked much about herself, but just made me want to know more. I would sit in the meadows, sipping the nectar, and I would try to concentrate on the flowers, or the clouds, or the reflections of the lake. But I was just really staring at Calypso herself, at Calypso as she worked. The way she brushed her hair over her shoulder, and the little strand that fell in her face whenever she knelt to dig in the garden. Sometimes she would hold out her hand, and birds would fly out the woods to settle on her arm. Lorikeets, parrots, doves. She would tell them good morning, ask how it was going at the nest, and they would chirp for a while, then fly off cheerfully. Calypso's eyes gleamed. She would look at me, and would share a smile, but almost immediately, she'd get that expression again and turn away. I didn't understand what was bothering her. One night, we were eating. How long have you been here? One night, we were eating dinner together. At the beach, invisible servants had set up a table with beef stew and apple cider, which may not sound all that exciting. That's because you haven't tasted it. Fair enough. I hadn't even noticed the invisible servants when I first got to the island. But after a while, I became aware of the beds making themselves, meals cooking on their own, clothes being washed and folded by unseen hands. Anyway, Calypso and I were sitting at dinner, and she looked beautiful in the candlelight. Apparently, she's really fucking pretty. Apparently, she really is Isabella Merced. I was telling her about New York and Camp Half-Blood, and then I started telling her about the time go. Wow, an actual typo. The publisher didn't do their job. Who published this shit? Hyperion? Disney? It wasn't Disney, it was Hyperion. Somebody better read this. It's fucked up. What is it? I started telling her about the time Grover had eaten an apple while we were playing hacky sack with it. She laughed, showing off her amazing smile, and our eyes met. Then she dropped her gaze. There it is again, I said. What? You keep pulling away, like you're trying not to enjoy yourself. She kept her eyes on her glass of cider. As I told you, Percy, I have been punished. Cursed, you might say. How? Tell me. I want to help. Don't say that. Please don't say that. Tell me what the punishment is. She covered her half-finished stew with a napkin, and immediately an invisible servant whisked the bowl away. Percy, this island, Ogygia, is my home, my birthplace, but it is also my prison. I am under house arrest, I guess you would call it. I will never visit this Manhattan of yours, or anywhere else. I am alone here, because your father was Atlas. She nodded. The gods do not trust their enemies, and rightly so. I should not complain. Some of the prisoners are not nearly as nice as mine. Some of the prisons are not nearly as nice as mine. That's not fair, I said. Just because you're related doesn't mean you support him. The daughter I knew, Zoe Knight, said she fought against him. She wasn't imprisoned. But Percy clips said gently, I did support him in the first war. He is my father. What? But the Titans are evil. Are they? All of them? All the time? She pursed her lips. Tell me, Percy. I have no wish to argue with you. But do you support the gods because they are good, or because they are your family? This is the first time, maybe not the first time, but probably one of the first times in the series that we are having some serious moral questions about who the gods are. I didn't answer. She had a point. Last winter, after Annabeth and I had saved Olympus, the gods had a debate about whether or not they would kill me. They should kill me. They hadn't been exactly good, but still, I felt like I supported them because Poseidon was my dad. Perhaps I was wrong in the war, Calypso said, and in fairness, the gods have treated me well. They visit me from time to time, they bring me word of the outside world, but they can leave, and I cannot. You don't have any friends, I asked? I mean, wouldn't anyone else live here with you? It's a nice place. A tear trickled down her cheek. I promised myself I wouldn't speak of this. But she's interrupted by a rumbling sound somewhere out of the lake. A glow appeared on the horizon. It got brighter and brighter until I could see a column of fire moving across the surface of the water, coming toward us. I stood and reached for my sword. What is that? Who is coming in here? Hold on. Sorry, Sister Annoying. Great interaction here? Yes. Where he's talking about the freaking gods and who they are? Yes. That is, I'm like really liking this. But sorry, my sister annoying. Family annoying. Hate them. She's interrupted by a rumbling sound somewhere out on the lake. A glow appeared on the horizon. It got brighter and brighter until I could see a column of fire moving across the surface of the water, coming toward us. I stood and reached for my sword. What is that? Calypso sighed. A visitor. As the column of fire reached the island, reached the beach, Calypso stood and bowed to it formally. The flames dissipated, and standing before us was a tall man in gray overalls and a metal leg brace, and his beard and hair smoldering with fire. Lord Hephaestus, Calypso said. This is a rare honor. A fire god grunted. Calypso, beautiful as always. Do you excuse us, please, my dear? I need to have a word with our young Percy Jackson. Hephaestus sat down clumsily at the dinner table and ordered a Pepsi. The invisible servant brought him one. Opened it too suddenly and sprayed soda all over the god's work clothes. Hephaestus roared and spat a few curses and swatted the can away. Stupid servants, he muttered. Good automatons are what she needs. They never act up. Hephaestus, I said. What's going on? Is that about? She's fine, he said. Resourceful girl, that one. Found her way back and told me the whole story. She's worried sick, you know. You haven't told her I'm okay? That's not for me to say, Hephaestus said. Everyone thinks you're dead. I had to be sure you were coming back before I started telling everyone where you were. What do you mean? I said. Of course they're coming back. Hephaestus studied me skeptically. He fished something out of his pocket. A metal disc the size of an iPod. He clicked a button and expanded into a miniature bronze TV. On the screen was news footage of Mount St. Helens. A huge plume of fire and ash trailing into the sky. Still uncertain about further eruptions, the newscaster was saying. Authorities have been ordered to the evacuation of almost 500,000 people as a precaution. Meanwhile, ash has fallen as far away as Lake Tahoe and Vancouver. The entire Mount St. Helens area is closed to traffic with a 100-mile radius. While no deaths have been reported, minor injuries and illnesses illnesses include... Hephaestus switched it off. You caused an explosion. You caused quite an explosion. What the fuck? Percy made the volcano blow up? I started the blank bronze screen. 500,000 people evacuated. Injuries. Illness. What had I done? The telekineses were scattered, the god told me. Some vaporized, some got away. No doubt. I don't think they'll be using my forge anytime soon. On the other hand, neither will I. The explosions caused Typhon to stir in his sleep. We'll have to wait and see. I couldn't release him, could I? I mean, I'm not that powerful. The god grunted. Not that powerful, eh? Could have fooled me. The son of the Earth Shaker, lad. You don't know your own strength. You're the son of the Earth Shaker. He is. This is true. Dang, what the fuck did Percy do? What the fuck is going on? I'm really hungry. Oh, I want to eat so bad. Whatever. Let's keep going. That's the last thing I wanted to say. I hadn't been in control of myself That's the last thing I wanted him to say. I hadn't been in control of myself in that mountain. I'd released so much energy. I'd almost vaporized myself. I drained all the life out of me. Now I found out I'd nearly destroyed the Northwest U.S. and almost woken the most horrible monster ever imprisoned by the gods. Maybe I was too dangerous. Maybe it was safe for my friends to think I was dead. What about Grover and Tyson? I asked. Hephaestus shook his head. No word. I'm afraid, I suppose, the Labyrinth has them. To be honest, that wouldn't be that much time in the Labyrinth. It'd be a lot more outside. So what am I supposed to do? Hephaestus winced. Don't ever ask an old cripple for advice, lad. But I'll tell you this. You've met my wife. Aphrodite? That's her. She's a tricky one. Be careful of love. It'll twist your brain around and leave you thinking up is down and right is wrong. I thought about my meeting with Aphrodite in the back of a white Cadillac in the desert last winter. She told me that she had taken a special interest in me and to be making things hard for me in the romance department just because she liked me. Is this part of her plan, I asked? Did she land me here? Possibly. Hard to say with her. But if you decide to leave this place, and I don't say that's what's right or wrong, then I promise you an answer to your quest. I promised you the way to Daedalus. Well now, here's the thing. It has something to do with Ariadne's string. Not really. Sure, the string works. That's what the Titan's army will be after. But the best way through the maze? Theseus had the princess's help, and the princess was a regular mortal. Not a drop of god blood in her. But she was clever. And she could see, lad. She could see very clearly. See what I'm saying? I think you know how to navigate the maze. It finally sank in. Why I hadn't seen it before. Hare had been right. The answer was there all along. Rachel Elizabeth motherfucking Dare, bitch. We gotta tell her parents she's won an all-expense paid trip to paradise. But only her. Nobody the fuck else. Then you'll need to decide whether or not you're leaving. I wanted to say yes, of course. Of course I would. But the words stuck in my mouth. I found myself looking out at the lake, and suddenly the idea of leaving seemed very hard. Don't decide yet, Hephaestus advised. Wait until daybreak. Daybreak is a good time for decisions. Will Daedalus even help us? I asked. I mean, if he gives Luke a way to navigate the labyrinth, we're dead. I saw dreams about Daedalus. Daedalus killed his nephew. He turned bitter and angry, and it isn't easy being a brilliant inventor, Hephaestus rumbled. Always alone, always misunderstood. Easy to turn bitter. Make horrible mistakes. People are difficult to work with. People are more difficult to work with than machines. When you break a promise, he can't be fixed. Well, when you break a person, he can't be fixed. Festus brushed the last drops of Pepsi off his work clothes. Daedalus started well enough. Daedalus started well enough. He helped the Princess Ariadne and Theseus because he felt sorry for them. He tried to do a good deed, and everything else in his life went bad because of it. Was that fair? The god shrugged. I don't know if Daedalus will help you, but don't judge someone until you've stood at his forge and worked with his hammer. I'll try. Dang. Hephaestus stood. Goodbye, lad. You did well. Destroying the Telchines, I'll always remember you for that. It sounded very final, that goodbye. Then he erupted into a column of flame, and the fire moved out over the water, heading back to the world outside. I walked along the beach for several hours. When I finally came into the meadow, it was very late. Maybe 4 or 5 in the morning. Calypso was still in her garden, tending the flowers by starlight. Her moonlace glowed. Her moonlace glowed silver, and the other plants responded to the magic, glowing in red, and yellow, and blue. What the fuck is... Dude. This story and the lack of food in my stomach is making me lightheaded. I love that line. But he doesn't understand his power. Son of the Earthshaker is so fire. Yes, it really is. Calling him Son of the Earth, like, bro. So maybe you've gotten too used to saying his name. Son of Earthshaker, Stormbringer. Like, I like how the title implies that with enough practice, Percy could cause earthquakes. That's so true. 1 second. I need snack before I continue. I was gonna wait till the end of this chapter. I was gonna wait till the end of the stream, but I'm hungry. I'll be back. All right. You know what it is. You know the deal. We're reading Percy Jackson. Only blue food allowed. Got some blue chips. I don't know why they're blue. It tastes like regular chips, but... Nah. Hiram did call him Earthshaker when he got claimed to right. We're right. It is true. This is about to be a long-ass stream. We streamed for an hour and a half. I'm snacking too. Let's go. What are you eating? What are even these called? Mission Organics Blue Corn Tortilla Chips with sea salt. With sea salt? Nah. This is perfect. I'm gonna need to buy more of these for the last Olympian. Blue sea salt chips. No, this is it. This is the official Percy Jackson snack. Now, rinse with French onion dip. I've never had French onion dip. I don't know how good it is, but I've heard that people like it. One last chip, and then we'll get back into the chapter. But honestly, you should be ashamed of yourself. I don't think Ritz are blue. Rude, honestly. Just rude. Get yourself some Mission Organics. The official chip of Percy Jackson. Anyways. Alright. It sounded very final, that goodbye. They erupted into a column of fire, and the fire moved over the water, heading back to the world outside. That's... I wonder if that means we'll never see Hephaestus again. I doubt it, considering there are a lot more books in this series, like, overall, but that's interesting. The goodbye. I walked along the beach for several hours. When I finally came back to the meadow, it was very late, maybe 4 or 5 in the morning. Calypso was still in her garden, tending to the flowers by starlight. Her moonlace glowed silver, and the other plants responded to the magic, glowing red and yellow and blue. He has ordered you to return, Calypso guessed. He's ordered you to return, Calypso guessed? Well, not ordered. He gave me a choice. Her eyes met mine. I promised I would not offer... Offer what? For you to stay. Stay? I said, like, forever? You would be immortal on this island, she said quietly. You would never age or die. You could leave the fight to others, Percy Jackson. You could escape your prophecy. But he already said he chose it. He already said he himself chose the prophecy. I stared at her stunned. Just like that? She nodded just like that. Zoe, too. Like, not Zoe. Thalia escaped the prophecy. Then it would shift to Nico, the prophecy. My friends. Calypso rose and took my hand. Her touch sent a warm current through my body. You asked about my curse, Percy. I did not want to tell you. The truth is, the gods send me companionship from time to time. Every 1,000 years or so, they allow a hero to wash up on my shores. Someone who needs my help. I tend to him and befriend him, but it is never random. The fates make sure that the sort of hero they send. Her voice trembled that she had to stop. I squeezed her hand tighter. What have I done to make you sad? They send a person who can never stay, she whispered, who can never accept my offer of companionship for more than a little while. They send me a hero I can't help. Just the sort of person I can't help falling in love with. Aphrodite, you're a bitch. Aphrodite, you're a bitch. The night was quiet, except for the gurgling of the fountain and the waves lapping on the shore. It took me a long time to realize what she was saying. Me? Bruh. Who else is here? Who else is here, bro? I don't see anyone else, Percy. There's quite literally nobody else on this island. If you could see your face, she suppressed a smile, though her eyes were still teary. Of course you. That's why you've been pulling away all this time. I tried very hard, but I can't help it. The fates are cruel. They sent you to me, my brave one, knowing that you would break my heart. But I'm just me. That is enough, Calypso promised. I told myself I would not even speak of this. I would let you go. Without even offering. But I can't. I suppose the fates knew that too. You could stay with me, Percy. I'm afraid that is the only way you could help me. I stared at the horizon. The first red streaks of dawn were lightening the sky. I could stay here forever. Disappear from Earth. I could live with Calypso. With invisible servants tending to my every need. We could grow flowers in the garden and talk to songbirds and walk on the beach. Under perfect blue skies. No war, no prophecy, no more taking sides. I can't, I told her. She looked down sadly. I would never do anything I hurt you, I said. But my friends need me. I know how to help them now. I have to get back. She picked a flower from her garden, a sprig of silver moonlace. Its glow faded as the sunrise came up. Daybreak is a good time for decisions, Vested said. Calypso tucked the flower into my t-shirt pocket. She stood on her tiptoes and kissed me on the forehead, like a blessing. Then come to the beach, my hero. We will send you on your way. I'm about to freaking cry right now. This is so sad. What? They send her a hero? Just to fuck with her. For being a No. What? After getting a good look at the big three children, I don't know if Zeus is getting shafted, but Percy's crazy powerful, and Nico can summon a skeleton army. This is true. Well, Thalia can summon lightning, and lightning is one of the most powerful things ever. So I don't think she's getting shafted. She can just summon lightning, and probably do other sky shit. I don't know. I make blue pancakes every year on Percy's birthday for fun. I'd be forgiven. What? Blue pancakes? Do you just use food dye? How do you do that? But Thalia can only shoot lightning from her fingers. Seems kind of weak. She can summon lightning from the sky. She summoned it from the sky at Camp Half-Blood. Anthony, what do you mean summoning lightning is OP? Of course. Duh. It's cool, and maybe it's because Thalia didn't use her powers sufficiently, but she felt really underpowered compared to Percy, who can cause volcanoes to erupt, and Nico, who can summon invincible warriors. A little lightning feels weak. Percy can be so oblivious. Yeah. Calypso, it's cruel. That really got to me. I'm back. What I miss? Food dye, blueberries. It's great. Yes, yes, yes. You just missed. This is the Calypso bit, where Percy's telling Calypso he can't leave, and it's hurting me. I gotta do that. I gotta make blue pancakes. I gotta eat some more blue shit. Dang, you must really love this series if you make blue pancakes every year. That's crazy. How long have you been doing that for? Aphrodite is on her trifling shit, keeping her promise to make Percy's love life suck. But unfortunately, Calypso and already won the waifu war. Yeah, I hope we come back. Percy, you gotta come back, man. You gotta send someone back, or something. The raft was a 10-foot square of logs lashed together with a pole for a mast and a simple white linen sail. It didn't look like it would be very seaworthy or lake-worthy. This will take you wherever you desire, Calypso promised. It is quite safe. I took her hand, but she let it slip out of mine. Maybe I can visit you, I said. She shook her head. No man ever finds Ogygia twice. Percy, when you leave, I will never see you again. Why are you doing this? Percy, kill Aphrodite. Kill her, just because. Kill her just because, bro. But go, please. Her voice broke. The fates are cruel. Percy, just remember me. Then a little trace of her smile returned. Point a garden in Manhattan for me, will you? I promise. I stepped into the raft, immediately began to sail from the shore. As I sailed into the lake, I realized the fates really were cruel. I sent Calypso someone who she couldn't help but love. But it worked both ways. For the rest of my life, I'll be thinking about her. She would always be my biggest what if. Within minutes, the island of Ogygia was lost in the mist. I was sailing alone over the water toward the sunrise. Then I told the raft what to do. I said the only place I could think of because I needed comfort and friends. Camp Half-Blood, I said. Sail me home. Okay, wait, which one is the spoiler? Is it what Jack said? Hold on. Do me a favor. If you put the spoiler in chat, delete that shit. Thank you for telling me beforehand, so I didn't look at that. I'm gonna wait about 30 seconds. Hopefully it'll delete it. I'll look at the bottom. Someone tell me if he deletes it. But that is one of my favorite chapters in the whole series. Easily one of my favorite chapters in the whole series. Calypso is such a tortured, interesting character. I really want to see her again. You removed it? Okay, sick. Okay. This year will be the 4th. It's fun. I recommend going out of your way to do it. I might just do that. In a lot of ways, this is more fucked than Atlas's punishment. It is. Because I believe Atlas deserves that shit. Because he's still evil. He's still trying to kill the gods and shit. That's what doesn't care. She doesn't want it anymore. But, like, now... now she's just chilling and God's fuck with her. I mean, he can find it twice, though. He can talk to anybody. He can talk to Hermes. He can talk to Festus. He can talk to people. And they'll bring him back. Yeah, please no spoilers, guys. Please no more spoilers. I'd like to go through as spoil free as I can. I've already been spoiled on some stuff. Like, I wish I didn't know that Nico was the son of Hades before I read it. But it is what it is. So, yeah. A little bit more into enter text, and we'll get right back into it. Alright. That and water is the Percy combo right here. The Percy freaking combo. The biggest what if line always stuck with me. Yeah. Everything about that is just crazy. Like, sorry. Percy made a volcano erupt. Percy, because like, since he's Earthshaker, son of Earthshaker, that's part of it. Volcanoes, that's part of the Earth. Made a volcano erupt. Shot out of it. Burned himself. Landed into the sea. On Calypso's island, because Aphrodite sent him there. Aphrodite was forced to care for him for days. To fall in love with Percy, not Aphrodite, Calypso. Calypso was forced to care for him for days. And then she fell in love with him. But Percy has to leave. He can't stay. He cannot stay. Because if he did, excuse me, if he stayed, he'd be leading his friends out to dry. He already promised to take the prophecy from Nico. So he wouldn't be able to do that anymore. Like, that's the biggest choice. That's the ultimate selfless over selfish moment. Like, that's oof. Man. If only he had stayed. If only he had stayed and invited Nico. And then they would both be free. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy, man. But you address Percy's obliviousness towards Calypso's feelings for him with the way he described how she is more beautiful than Aphrodite, and he's just some dorky kid in his teens, no wonder. Yeah. He didn't consider... Yeah, of course. I wouldn't either. I mean, like, I wouldn't consider that she liked me beforehand. I mean, it might have crossed my mind, but not, like, seriously. But, like... But when she's like, I fall in love with a hero every single time they come here, I'd be like, me? Bitch, what other hero is here? Who the fuck else is there, bro? Who? There's no other heroes. Alright, you've heard that. It's my dad yelling, being annoying. There's no other heroes here except me. What am I gonna do? Who are you gonna think about? But whatever. One more. Calypso gets so much hate sometimes, but honestly, she's not a bad character. Why would people hate Calypso? That makes so much sense. You're cursed to spend eternity on an island alone? To fall in love and get your heart broken over and over again? Yeah, I'd do the same thing. I'd do the same thing, bro. Next series, Heroes of Olympus. I don't know what you mean. But I'm gonna get back in, because we have 2 more chapters left to read. So let's... I love her because I relate to her. Interesting. Also, welcome in, Cabin 7 Avenger. I don't think you've been here so far, so welcome into the stream. Nice to have you again. The Odyssey, maybe? What about the Odyssey? I'm so confused. I'm so lost what you guys are talking about right now. But anyways, let's get back into it. Chapter 13. We hire a new guide. Rachel Elizabeth Dare. You coming into the story now, my girl. Hours later, my raft washed up to Camp Half-Blood. How I got there, I have no idea. At some point, the lake water just changed to salt water. The familiar shoreline of Long Island appeared up ahead, and a couple of friendly great white sharks surfaced and steered me toward the beach. When I landed, the camp seemed deserted. It was late afternoon, but the archery range was empty. The climbing wall poured lava, and rumbled all by itself. Pavilion? Nothing. Cabins? All vacant. Then I noticed smoke rising from the amphitheater. Too early for a campfire, but I didn't figure they were roasting marshmallows. I ran toward it. Oh no. Oh no. Before I got there, I heard Kyron making an announcement. When I realized what he was saying, I stopped in my tracks. Assume he is dead, Kyron said. After so long a silence, it is unlikely our prayers will be answered. I have asked his best surviving friend to do the final honors. Oh, they think Percy's dead. I think he's dead. He's standing right there. He's like, that's interesting. I came on the back of the amphitheater. Nobody noticed me. They were all looking forward, watching as Annabeth took a long green silk burial cloth embroidered with a trident and set it on the flames. They were burning my shroud. Rude? Bro, I'm right here. Wait, Annabeth was there? When did she leave the labyrinth? Where's Grover? Where's Tyson? Annabeth turned to face the audience. She looked terrible. Her eyes are puffy from crying. But she managed to say, he was probably the bravest friend I've ever had. Then she saw me. Her face went blood red. He's right there. Heads turned. People gasped. Percy! Beckendorf grinned. A bunch of other kids crowded around me and clapped on the back. I heard a few curses from the Ares cabin. They were so happy. They were like the kid who embarrassed my dad. But Clarice just rolled her eyes like she couldn't believe I'd had the nerve to survive. Kyron cantered over, and everyone made way for me. Well, he said, with obvious relief, I don't believe I've ever been happier to see a camper return. But you must tell me, where have you been? Annabeth interrupted. I shoved aside the other camper. Shoving aside the other campers. I thought she was going to punch me, but instead she hugged me so fiercely she nearly cracked my ribs. The other campers fell silent. Annabeth seemed to realize she was making a scene and pushed me away. I thought you were dead, seaweed brain. I'm sorry, I said. I got lost. What lie? I mean, you were technically lost, but still. Lost? 2 weeks, Percy. Where in the world? Annabeth, Kyron interrupted. Perhaps we should discuss this somewhere more private, shall we? The rest of you, back to your normal activities, without waiting for us to protest. He picked up Annabeth and me as easily as if we were kittens, slung us both onto his back, and galloped off toward the big house. I didn't tell them the whole story. I just couldn't bring myself to talk about Calypso. I explained how I'd caused the explosion at Mount St. Helens and gotten blasted out of the volcano. I told them I'd been marooned on an island, that Hephaestus had found me and told me I could leave. A magic raft had carried me back to camp. All that was true, but as I said it, my palms felt sweaty. We'd been gone 2 weeks, and Annabeth's voice was steadier now, but she still looked pretty shaken up. When I heard the explosion, I thought, I know, I said. I'm sorry, but I figured out how to get through the labyrinth. I talked to Hephaestus. He told you the answer? Well, he sort of told me that I already knew, and I do. I understand now. I told them my idea. Annabeth's jaw dropped. Percy, that's crazy. What happened? Another spoiler? Is there another spoiler? If there's another spoiler, please delete it. Come on, guys. Seriously, I really don't want to know what happens in this book. I'm reading it for the first. I really do not want spoilers. But if there's a spoiler, please delete it. Please tell me if it's deleted so that I can read the chat again. I don't want to not read the chat for this. This chat is not. There are 6 of you, so this chat is gonna stay. The spoilers are gonna stay there. One second. First, that's crazy. Chiron sat back in his wheelchair and stroked his beard. There's a precedent, however. Theseus had the help of Ariadne, Harriet Tubman, daughter of Hermes. Harriet Tubman, daughter of Hermes. Harriet Tubman, daughter of Hermes, used many mortals on her underground railroad for just this reason. See, I saw a TikTok meme of this. I saw, like, who was the best sibling duo? Justin and Alex Russo from Wizards of Waverly Place, or Luke Castellan and Harriet Tubman. And I'm still, like, seeing it in the book. Like, I was, like, in half disbelief. Seeing it in the book, I'm shocked that Rick had the audacity to write that in there. I'm not really mad at it. I just think it's funny, and a lot of people would be offended if he kept, like, if that, like if this is a widespread thing. Like, once this gets to Disney Plus, I think they're gonna omit that part about Harriet Tubman being the daughter of Hermes. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, cool. It's deleted, thank you. Hold on, let me go back to the beginning. Poor Annabeth. Everyone loves Percy, that's true. I love that part. The hug, yeah. No spoilers. Way to flex your own grave. Way to flex your own grave, honestly. Yes, please no spoilers. My man is already fighting to stay away from I'm trying, bro. I'm trying hard. Rick casually solving slavery, for sure. He's like, he was just Harry Tubman. God solved slavery. It's all good. I gotta go. I'll check you on the next one. All right, see you, Shaughnessy. It's nice to have you, man. This is almost as hilarious as the time Moses parted the Red Sea with the Beyblade. Bro, fantasy writers having the audacity to put like very important events in people's lives and making them like silly like this is like so funny to me. I love that. I haven't been able to watch you recently, and I just got back from playing with my church youth band for an event. How are you liking this book so far? Welcome back, Dashpoint. It's nice to have you again. And yes, I'm really enjoying this one. Battle of the Labyrinth, it might be my favorite by the end. So far, I'm really liking Battle of the Labyrinth. A lot of the stuff is really great in it. A lot of stuff is really great. Anyways, this is my quest, Annabeth said. I need to lead it. Chiron looked uncomfortable. My dear, it is your quest, but you need help. Fatal flaw. Fatal flaw. And this is supposed to help? Please, it's wrong. It's cowardly. It's hard to admit we need a mortal's help, I said. But it's true. Annabeth glared at me. You are the single most annoying person I have ever met. That's fucking funny. And she stormed out of the room. I stared at the doorway. I felt like hitting something. So much for being the bravest friend she's ever had. She will calm down, Chiron promised. She's jealous, my boy. That's stupid. She's not... It's not like... Chiron chuckled. It hardly matters. Annabeth is very territorial about her friends, in case you haven't noticed. She was quite worried about you. And now that you're back, I think she suspects where you were marooned. Ooh, she's jealous that he was with Calypso. I'd be jealous too. The most beautiful person ever that he's ever seen. Yeah, I'd be jealous. I'd be so jealous. The most beautiful person. I'd be so jealous. I met his eyes, and I knew Chiron had guessed about Calypso. It was hard to hide anything from that guy who's been trading heroes for 3,000 years. He's pretty much seen it all. Yeah, he's like, oh, Calypso again? Oh, is that all? Like, that makes sense. Calypso again. But also, not telling her is worse. If she guesses Calypso and you don't tell her, she's like, what did you do? What did you do on that island for 2 weeks? You know what I mean? You won't dwell on your choices, Chiron said. You came back. That is what matters. Tell that to Annabeth. Chiron smiled. In the morning, I will have Argus take the two of you into Manhattan. We will stop by your mother's, Percy. She was understandably distraught. My heart skipped a beat. All that time on Calypso's island, I never even thought about how my mom would be feeling. She'd think I was dead. She'd be devastated. What was wrong with me? That I hadn't even considered that. Chiron, I said, what about Grover and Tyson? Do you think... I don't know, my boy. Chiron gazed into the empty fireplace. Juniper is quite distressed. All her branches are turning yellow. The Council of Cloven Elders has revoked Grover's searcher's license in absentia. Assuming he comes back alive, they will force him into a shameful exile, he sighed. Grover and Tyson are very resourceful. The first satyr to ever come back alive. And they were forced him into exile. The Council of Cloven Elders is some bitches. Some bitch-made goats. Grover and Tyson are very resourceful, however. We can still hope. I shouldn't have let them run off. Grover has his own destiny, and Tyson was brave to follow him. You would know if Grover was in mortal danger, don't you think? I suppose. The empathy link, but... There is something else I should tell you, Percy. He said, actually 2 unpleasant things. Great. Chris Rodriguez, our guest. I remembered what I'd seen in the basement. Clarice trying to talk to him. We babbled about the Labyrinth. Is he dead? Not yet, Karen said grimly, but he's much worse. He's in the infirmary now, too weak to move. I had to order Clarice back to a regular schedule, but she was at his bedside constantly. He doesn't respond to anything. He won't take food or drink. None of my medicines help. He has simply lost the will to live. Damn. I shuddered. Despite all the run-in that I had with Clarice, I felt horrible for her. She tried so hard to help him. And now that I've been in the Labyrinth, I can understand why it had been so easy for the ghost of Minos to drive Chris mad. If I'd been wandering around down there alone, without my friends to help, I'd never have made it out. I am sorry to say, Chiron continued. The other news is less pleasant still. Quintus has disappeared. Disappeared how? 3 nights ago. He slipped into the Labyrinth. You never watched him go. It appears you may have been right about him. He's a spy for Luke. He's a spy for Luke. I told Chiron about the Triple G ranch, how Quintus had brought his scorpions there, and Garen had been supplying Chironis' army. It can't be a coincidence. So, I'm guessing because Percy said that, he's not a spy for Luke. But also, Percy is right all the time. Like, he's right about stuff a lot, so I don't know. Chiron sighed heavily. So many betrayals. I had hoped Quintus would prove a friend. It seems my judgment was bad. What about Mrs. O'Leary? I asked. The hound is still in the arena. I won't let anyone approach. I didn't have the heart to force it into a cage or destroy it. Quentin wouldn't just leave her, as I said. Percy, you seem to have been wrong about him. Now, you should prepare yourself for the morning. You and Annabeth still have much to do. I left him in his wheelchair, staring sadly into the fireplace. I wondered how many times he'd sat here, waiting for heroes that never came back. Damn. Wait till the next one. I'm excited. Am I gonna read the whole book? Which one? Am I gonna read the whole, I'm gonna read the whole series, man. So yeah, I'm gonna read the whole book. It will be your favorite, I'm fairly confident. Really. The, you talking about The Last Olympian or Battle of Labyrinth? Annabeth has been so done with him for way too long. That's true. Grover deserves much more respect from the Cloven Elders. I know. He's the first satyr in 2,000 years to ever come back. There is just something in the Jackson genetics that pulls baddies like Poseidon for Sally, then Anna and Calypso for Percy. That's facts. That's facts. The sea does not like to be restrained, bro. The ladies love the sea. It is what it is. Facts about Grover. He is out here participating in quests that are so terrifying. The Cloven Elders faint just hearing about it, and they still treat him like shit. Battle? Okay. This one, from what you've read so far. But book 5 will eventually beat this too. Interesting theory. I hope so, because I've heard nothing but great things. Have you decided how you'll stream the last book? I was going to talk to you guys about that after I finish this one. I was going to, so I will talk to you guys after, at the end of the next stream. I will talk to you guys about that. That's what we'll do. But I'm leaning towards reading it all on stream. That's what I'm leaning towards. I'll let you know that. Not obviously not in one stream. That's not gonna happen. But like, because that'd be like a 20-hour stream. But like, in multiple. Before dinner, I stopped by the sword arena. Sure enough, Mr. Lear was curled in an enormous black furry mound in the middle of the stadium, chewing half-heartedly on the head of a warrior dummy. When she saw me, she barked and came bounding toward me. I thought I was dead meat. I just had time to say, "Whoa!" before she bowled over me and started licking my face. Now, usually, being the son of Poseidon and all, I only get wet if I want to. My powers apparently did not extend to dog saliva because I got pretty good bath. "Oh, girl," I yelled. "Can't breathe. Let me up." Eventually, I managed to get her off me. I scratched her ears and found an extra gigantic dog biscuit. "Where's your master?" I asked her. "How did he just leave you, huh?" She whimpered, like she wanted to know that too. I was ready to believe Quintus was an enemy, but still couldn't understand why he'd leave Mrs. O'Leary behind. If there was one thing I was sure of, it was that he really cared for his mega dog. I was thinking about that, and toweling the dog spit off my face when a girl's voice said, "You're lucky she didn't bite your head off." Clarice! Okay. Clarice interaction, I love him. Clarice was standing at the other end of the arena, with her sword and shield. "Came here to practice yesterday," she grumbled. "Dog tried to chew me up." "She's an intelligent dog," I said. Funny. She walked toward us. Mrs. O'Leary growled, but I patted her on the head and calmed her down. "Stupid hellhound," Clarice said. "Not going to keep me from practicing." "How about Chris?" I said. "I'm sorry." I love Clarice and Percy interactions every time we get them. Every time we get them, they're great. Clarice paced a circle around the arena. When she came to the nearest dummy, she attacked viciously, chopping its head off with a single blow and driving her sword through its guts. She pulled the sword out and kept walking. "Yeah, well, sometimes things go wrong." Her voice was shaky. Heroes get hurt, they die, and the monsters just keep coming back. She picked up a javelin and threw it across the arena. It nailed a dummy straight between the eye holes of its helmet. She had called Chris a hero, like he had never gone over to the Titan's side. It reminded me of the way Annabeth sometimes talked about Luke. I decided not to bring that up. Chris was brave, I said. I hope he gets better. She glared at me as if I were her next target. Miss O'Leary growled. Do me a favor, Clarice told me. Yeah, sure. If you find Daedalus, don't trust him. Don't ask him for help. Just kill him. Clarice, because anybody who can make something like the Labyrinth, Percy, that person is evil. Plain evil. For a second, she reminded me of Eurytion, the cowherd, her much older half-brother. She had the same look in her eyes, as if she'd been used for the past 2,000 years and was getting tired of it. She sheathed her sword. Practice time is over. From now on, it's for real. What the fuck? Again, book 5 made me cry, and the climax will be so sick to see in live action. The last Olympian just goes hard. I believe it. I'll be here for all of it. I can't wait for this. It'll be awesome to read it all together. If that's what you guys want to do, then I will be doing that. The Last Olympian gave me tears. I normally don't ever cry while reading. The more mature they get, the better the interactions are. Yes, I agree, but I still like their hate for each other. Like, I hope to see Clarice and Percy become friends, but I also hope their rivalry never goes away. That night, I sat in my own bunk, and for the first time since Calypso's Island, dreams found me. Dang. It's a paradise where he doesn't even dream. I was in a king's courtroom, a big white chamber with marble columns and wooden throne. Sitting on it was a plump guy with curly red hair and crown of laurels. At his side stood there, girls who looked like his daughters. At his side stood 3 girls who looked like his daughters. They all had his red hair and were dressed in blue robes. The door creaked open, and a herald announced, Minos, King of Crete, or Minos. I'm going to keep saying Minos, though, because it's easier to say. I tensed, but the man on the throne just smiled at his daughters. I can't wait to see the expression on his face. Minos, the royal creep himself, swept into the room. He was so tall and serious, he made the other king look silly. Minos' pointed beard had gone gray. He looked thinner than the last time I dreamed of him, and his sandals were spattered with mud. But the same cruel light shined in his eyes. He bowed stiffly to the man on the throne. King Kokolos. I understood. You have solved my little riddle. Kokolos smiled. Hardly little, Minos. Especially when you advertise across the world that you are willing to pay 1,000 gold talents to the one who can solve it. Is the offer genuine? Minos clapped his hands. 2 buff guards walked in and struggled with a big wooden crate. They set it at Kokolos's feet and opened it. Stacks of golden bars glittered. It had to be worth like a gazillion dollars. Kokolos whistled appreciatively. You must have bankrupted your kingdom for such a reward, my friend. That is not your concern. Kokolos shrugged. The riddle was quite simple, really. One of my retainers solved it. Father, one of the girls warned. She looked like the oldest, a little taller than her sisters. Kokolos ignored her. He took a spiral seashell from the fold of his robe. A silver string had been threaded through it, so it hung like a huge bead on a necklace. Minos stepped forward and took the shell. One of your retainers, you said. How did he thread the string without breaking the shell? He used an ant, if you can believe it. Tied a silk string to the little creature and coaxed it through the shell by putting honey at the end. Ingenious man, Minos said. Oh, indeed. My daughter's tutor. They are quite fond of him. Minos' eyes turned cold. I would be careful of that. I wanted to warn Cocculus. Don't trust this guy. Throw him in the dungeon with some man-eating lions or something. But the red-headed king just chuckled. Not to worry, Minos. My daughters are wise beyond their years. Now about my gold. Yes, Minos said. But you see, gold is for the man who solved the riddle. There can only be one such man. You are harboring Daedalus. Cocculus shifted uncomfortably on his throne. How is it that you know his name? He's a thief, Minos said. He once worked in my court, Cocculus. He turned my own daughter against me. He helped a usurper make a fool of me in my own palace, and then he escaped justice. I have been pursuing him for 10 years. Damn. So he... Ooh. Did he know Daedalus would be the only one to solve the riddle? So he just... So that's so he could find... That'd be really cool if that was the case. There's a book in between 4 and 5, like frenemies, like friendly rivals, like Naruto and Sasuke. You know what I mean? Like Goku and Vegeta. Like Goku and Vegeta still argue, but they're still rivals. You know? There's a book between 4 and 5. I was told last stream, and hold on. Then immediately I went out and got it. Boom, there it is. All 151 pages of the Demigod Files. I have not read it yet, obviously, because I know it's between 4 and 5. But I will after this one is over, and I probably will not be reading this on stream because it's so short. And it's like I'll probably just like flip through it before we start Last Olympian. That's probably what I'll do. At this point, I don't think Clarice hates Percy. Maybe she just likes him, but she hadn't outright attacked him since book 1. That's true. But apparently stuff Percy has alluded to stuff that's happened off screen, you know what I mean? True to that. I know this is random, but I'll be back. But my goat just had her babies. Whoa! You have a goat? That's cool. Well, happy goat baby day, man. That's cool. Wait, did you read Daedalus killing his nephew off stream? I forget the chapter. I think that was chapter 15. So maybe. I don't actually remember which chapter it is. If it was chapter 15, then yes. Not 15, sorry. Chapter 10. I'm not to chapter 15 yet. If it's chapter 10, then yes, because I've only read one chapter off stream, and it was that one. At this point, Naruto and Sasuke aren't friends or enemies, but closest closet lovers. Nah, man. Yeah, that's an off-stream book to read. Yes, just enjoy it yourself. It's short and good. Yeah, I hope so. I really like the cover for this one. You know, I'm a big cover guy, so I like how the sword and the trident are kind of occupying the same space. I think it's cool. Alright. Anyways, I was in the middle of something. I knew nothing of this, but I have offered this man my protection. He has been most useful. I offer you a choice, Minos said. Turn over the fugitive to me, and the gold is yours. Risk making me your enemy. You do not want Crete as your enemy. Cocculus paled. I thought it was stupid for him to look so scared in the middle of his own throne room. He should have summoned his army or something. Minos only had 2 guards, but Cocculus just sat there, sweating on his throne. Father, Solasar said, you can't. Silence, Aelia. Cocculus twisted his beard. He looked again at the glittering gold. This pains me, Minos. The gods don't love a man who breaks his oath of hospitality. Oath of hospitality. Is that a thing we've heard of before, the oath of hospitality, or is this a new thing? The gods do not love those who harbor criminals either. Cocculus nodded. Very well. You shall have your men in chains. Father! Aelia said again. She caught herself, and changed her voice to a sweeter tone. At least let us feast our guest first. After his long journey, he should be treated to a hot bath, new clothes, and a decent meal. I'd be honored to draw the bath myself. She smiled prettily at Minos, and the old king grunted. I suppose a bath would not be amiss. They are going to kill you. That food is poisoned. He looked at Cocculus. I will see you at dinner, my lord. With the prisoner. This way, your majesty, said Aelia. She and her sisters led Minos out of the chamber. I followed them into a bath chamber decorated with mosaic tiles. Steam filled the air. A running water faucet poured hot water into the tub. Aelia and her sisters filled it with rose petals, something that must have been ancient Greek Mr. Bubble, because soon the water was covered with multicolored foam. The girls turned aside as Minos dropped his robes and slipped into the bath. Ah, he smiled. An excellent bath. Thank you, my dears. The journey has been long indeed. You have been chasing your prey 10 years, my lord. I asked, batting her eyelash. You must be very determined. I never forget a debt, Minos grinned. Your father was wise to agree to my demands. Oh, indeed, my lord. You're so getting killed. Aelia said, I thought she was laying on the flattery pretty thick, but the old guy was eating it up. Of course he was. Kings, especially back in the day, they were hubristic motherfuckers. Aelia's sister trickled scented oil over the king's head. You know, my lord, Aelia said, Daedalus thought you would come. He thought the riddle might be a trap, but he couldn't resist solving it. Minos frowned. Daedalus spoke to you about me. Yes, my lord. He's a bad man, princess. My own daughter fell under his spell. Do not listen to him. He's a genius, Aelia said, and he believes a woman is just as smart as a man. He was the first to ever teach us as if we had minds of our own. Perhaps your daughter felt the same way. Minos tried to sit up, but Aelia just pushed him back into the water. Aelia came up behind him. She held 3 tiny orbs in her palm. At first, I thought they were bath beads, but she threw them in the water, and the beads sprouted bronze threads that began wrapping around the king, tying him in ankles, binding his wrists to his sides, circling his neck. Even though I hated Minos, it was pretty horrible to watch. Yeah, like I said, you're about to freaking die. He thrashed and cried out, but the girls were much stronger. Soon he was helpless, lying in the bath with his chin above the water. The bronze strands were still wrapping around him like a cocoon, tightening around his body. What do you want? Minos demanded. Why do you do this? Aelia smiled. Daedalus has been kind to us, your majesty, and I do not like you threatening our father. You tell Daedalus, Minos groaned. You tell him I will hound him even after death. If there is any justice in the underworld, my soul will haunt him for eternity. Brave words, your majesty said. I wish you luck finding your justice in the underworld. And with that, the bronze beads wrapped around Daedalus' face, making him a bronze mummy. Wrapped around Minos' face, making him a bronze mummy. The doors of the bathhouse opened. Daedalus stepped in, carrying a traveler's bag. He trimmed his hair short. His beard was pure white. He looked frail and sad. But he reached down and touched the mummy's forehead. The threads unraveled and sank to the bottom of the tub. There was nothing inside them. It was as if the King Minos had just dissolved. A painless death, Daedalus mused, more than he deserved. Thank you, my princesses. Aelia hugged him. You cannot stay here, teacher. When our father finds out... Yes, Daedalus said. I fear I have brought you trouble. Oh, do not worry for us. Father will be happy enough, taking that old man's gold. And Crete is a very long way away. But he will blame you for Minos' death. You must flee to somewhere safe. Somewhere safe, Gilman repeated. For years I have fled from kingdom to kingdom, looking for somewhere safe. I fear Minos told the truth. Death will not stop him from hounding me. There is no place under the sun that will harbor me. Once word of this crime gets out. And where will you go? Aelia said. A place I swore never to enter again. Daedalus said, my prison may be my only sanctuary. I do not understand. It's best you did not. But what of the underworld? One of the sisters asked. Terrible judgment will await you. Every man must die. Perhaps, Daedalus said. Then he brought a scroll from his traveling bag. The same scroll I'd seen in my last dream, with his nephew's notes. Or perhaps not. Didn't the nephew make the immortality doohickey? Isn't that what he's looking at right now? Interesting. He patted Aelia's shoulder, then blessed her and her sisters. He looked down once more at the coppery threads glinted in the bottom of the bath. Find me if you dare, King of Ghosts. Why is he calling him the King of Ghosts? I don't get how he got that title. He turned toward the mosaic wall and touched a tile. A glowing mark appeared. A Greek delta, and the wall slid aside. The princesses gasped. You never told us of secret passages, Aelia said. You have been busy. The labyrinth has been busy, Daedalus corrected. Do not try to follow me, my dears, if you value your sanity. My dream shifted. I was underground in a stone chamber. Luke and another half-blood warrior were studying a map by flashlight. Luke cursed. It should have been the last turn. He crumbled up the map and tossed it aside. Sir, his enemy protested. Maps are useless here. Maps are useless here, Luke said. Don't worry, I'll find it. Sir, it is true that the larger group, the more likely the larger the group, the more likely you'll get lost. Yes, that's true. Why do you think we sent our solo explorer to begin with? But don't worry, as soon as we have the thread, we can lead the vanguard through. But how will we get the thread? Luke stood, flexing his fingers. Oh, Quintus will come through. All we have to do is reach the arena, and it's at a juncture, impossible to get anywhere without passing it. Please ignore the yelling if you can hear that shit. My dad, for some reason, decided it's a good idea to yell all the time. That's why we must have a truce with this master. We'll just have to stay alive until... Sir! A new voice came from the corridor. Another guy in Greek armor ran forward carrying a torch. The Jacrine found a half-blood. Luke scowled. Alone? Wandering the maze? Yes, sir. You better come quick. They're in the next chamber. They've got him cornered. Who is it? No one I've ever seen before, sir. Luke nodded. A blessing from Kronos. We may be able to use his half-blood. Come. Ooh, please tell me it's not Nico. Please tell me it's not Nico. They ran down the corridor, and I woke with a start. Staring into the dark, a lone half-blood wandering into the maze. It was a long time before I got to sleep again. The next morning, I made sure Mrs. O'Leary had dog biscuits. I had enough dog biscuits. I asked Beckendorf to keep an eye on her, which he didn't seem too happy about. When I hiked over Half-Blood Hill, met Ameth and Argus on the road. Ameth and I didn't talk much in the van. Argus never spoke, probably because he had eyes all over his body. So I heard a tip. So I'd heard at the tip of his tongue. And he didn't like to show that off. Ooh, that's fair and gross. Argus looked queasy, as if she'd slept even worse than me. Annabeth looked queasy, as if she slept even worse than me. Bad dreams? I asked at last. She shook her head. An iris message from Eurytion. Eurytion? Is something wrong with Nico? He's gone into the labyrinth. My goat had two kids. Actual goat term for babies. Oh yeah, that is true. Kids is a goat term for babies. That is true. I hope these ones make it. Last time our other goat didn't do well. That's so sad. Yeah, I hope these ones make it too, man. I hope so. Congrats. Cool, I hope it works out for you. Yes, yes, yes. We're gonna sell them in our area. They can sell it for $100 because of the breed that we breed them. I love Nico. He's such a great character. So I've heard. But he's pretty good so far. But I don't think I've seen yet why everybody loves him. So I'm waiting for that. He left the ranch last night, heading back into the maze. What? Yeah, it was Nico. Did Eurytion try to stop him? Nico was gone before he woke up. Orthus tracked his scent as far as the cattle guard. Eurytion said he'd been hearing Nico talk to himself the last few nights. Only now he thinks Nico was talking with the ghost again. Minos. He's in danger, I said. No kidding. Minos is one of the judges of the dead, but he's got a vicious streak a mile wide. I don't know what he wants with Nico, but that's not what I meant, I said. I had this dream last night. I told her about Luke, how I mentioned Quintus, and how his men had found a half-blood alone in the maze. Wait, hold on. When did Luke mention Quintus? Did I miss that? Did my brain just read over that shit? Oh. Oh my word, my brain just read over that. Like I just Quintus will come. Yeah, he's like, oh, Quintus will come. All I have to do is reach the arena, and it's at a juncture. Impossible to get anywhere without passing it. Luke is working with Quintus. How did I read over that? How did I miss that? Thank you, Percy, for saying it again. else I would not have noticed that shit. Completely over my head. So he is? Is Quintus a double agent, or is he just evil? Annabeth's jaw clenched. That's very, very bad. So what do we do? She raised an eyebrow. Well, it's a good thing you have a plan to guide us. Yeah, I think Minos is just using Nico so he can find Daedalus. It was Saturday and traffic was heavy going into the city. We arrived at my mom's apartment around noon. When she answered the door, she gave me a hug. Only a little less overwhelming than having a hellhound jump on you. I told them you were all right, my mom said, but she sounded like the weight of the sky had just lifted off her shoulders. And believe me, I know firsthand how that feels. Yes, you do. Very cool. She sat us down at the kitchen table and insisted on feeding us her special blue chocolate chip cookies while we caught up on the quest. As usual, I tried to water down the frightening part, which was pretty much everything. But somehow, that just made it sound more dangerous. When I got to the part about Darian and the stables, my mom pretended like she was going to strangle me. I can't get him to clean his room, but he'll clean 100 tons of horse manure out of some monster stables. Sally, in all fairness, he did it because he had to save his friends. I'm sure he would clean his room if he had to save his friends. Annabeth laughed. It was the first time I'd heard her laugh in a long time, and it was nice to hear. So, my mom said, when I was done with the story, you wrecked Alcatraz Island, made mountain hounds explode, and displaced 500,000 people, but at least you're safe. Yeah, I kind of did that. You know how it is. That's my mom, always looking on the bright side. Nah, crazy. Looking at your son and being like, you really made the volcano explode. Yep, I agreed. That pretty much covers it. I wish Paul were here, she said to herself. He wanted to talk to you. Oh, right, the school. So much had happened since then, I almost forgotten about the high school orientation at Good. The fact that I'd left the band hall in flames, my mom's boyfriend had last seen me jumping through a window like a fugitive. What do you tell them, I asked. My mom shook her head. What could I say? He knows something is different about you, Percy. He's a smart man. He knows that you're not a bad person. He doesn't know what's going on, but the school is pressuring him. After all, he got you admitted there. He needs to convince him the fire wasn't your fault. And since you ran away, that looks bad. It does look bad. Shit, it's been 30 minutes. My fave Percy Jackson channel. Caleb, if you don't get the fuck out of my chat right now. Caleb, if you don't get the fuck. That's one of my friends. No, Caleb, if you don't get the fuck out of my chat right now, bro. Before I ban you from this channel. Insofar, Nico has been doing a lot of whining and not a lot of being useful. What is it? Caleb, I don't know how to ban you from the chat, but I will do it. I will figure it out. I was just surprised that you didn't say anything about it. I thought you were just like, yeah, that's just what I expected and didn't mention it. No, I was shocked. I just didn't like. My brain just read over it. It was like, okay, that's a name. And I didn't regard that it was Quintus's name. All right, another example of the overpowered Jackson genes is Sally pulling Paul, who's a great guy. That's technically true. Sally's a Jackson by marriage, not really by. No, actually, no. I guess Sally is the only Jackson. Poseidon's last name. He's not Poseidon Jackson. He's just Poseidon. So it's just a combination of Poseidon genes and Jackson genes. That happens to me sometimes. The friend thing on my channel. Yeah. Fuck this guy. I don't think Percy Jackson would like that. The figurehead of this channel. I will punch you. I do other things too. I'm just in a Percy Jackson thing right now. Shut up. Other things are happening. at some point, eventually, soon. I never understand the people who make their channel about one thing, because eventually that thing will run out, and there will be no more of that thing. So yeah. Yo, Matson Muter, welcome in, bro. Nice to see you again in the stream. Sorry, I was at track. Oh, you run track? That's dope, dude. I used to run track. That's so cool. My brother likes to mess with comments for me. That's fucking funny. Hold on. Where the hell was I? I just made the relay team. Let's go. Relays are always fun. You love to see it. Annabeth was studying me. She looked pretty sympathetic. I knew she'd been in similar situations. It's never easy for a half-blood in the mortal world. I'll talk to him, I promised. After we're done with the quest, I'll even tell him the truth if you want. My mom would put her hand on my shoulder. You would do that? Well, yeah, I mean, he'll think we're crazy. He already thinks that. And there's nothing to lose. Love it. Thank you, Percy. You'll be home, she frowned. What happens now? Annabeth broke her cookie in half. Percy has this plan. Reluctantly, I told my mom. She nodded, slowly. It sounds very dangerous, but it might work. You have the same abilities, don't you? I asked. You can see through the mist? My mom sighed. Not so much now. When I was younger, it was easier. But yes, I've always been able to see more than was good for me. It's one of the things that caught your father's attention when we first met. Just be careful. Promise me you'll be safe. Poseidon really said, what them eyes do, girl. What them eyes do. We'll try, Mrs. Jackson, Annabeth said. Keeping your son safe is a big job, though. She folded her arms and glared out the kitchen window. I picked up my napkin and tried not to say anything. My mom frowned. What's going on with you two? Have you been fighting? Neither of us said anything. I see, my mom said. I wondered if she could see through more than the mist. She could see through your bullshit. And I wondered if she could see through more than just the mist. It sounded like she understood what was going on with Annabeth and me. But I sure as heck didn't. Well, remember, she said, Grover and Tyson are counting on you two. I know. Annabeth and I said at the same time, which embarrassed me even more. My mom smiled. Percy, you'd better use the phone in the hall. Good luck. I was relieved to get out of the kitchen. Even though I was nervous about what I was about to do, I went to the phone and placed the call. The number had vanished off my hand a long time ago, but that was okay. Without meaning to, I memorized it. We arranged a meeting in Times Square. We found Rachel Elizabeth Dare in front of the Marriott Marquis, and she was completely painted gold. First of all, let's go. My girl, Rachel Elizabeth, has returned from the no pages back onto the pages. You'll have to see it. Secondly, what are you going to do about her parents? I still don't know. I mean, her face. Her face. I mean, her face, her hair, her clothes, everything. She looked like she'd been touched by King Midas. She was standing like a statue with 5 other kids, all painted metallic. Copper, bronze, silver. They were frozen in different poses while tourists hustled past or stopped to stare. Some passerby threw money at the tarp on the sidewalk. The sign at Rachel Elizabeth's feet said, Urban Art for Kids, donation appreciated. Okay, she's one of those. Dang, this is a long chapter, bro. This is a long chapter, dude. Annabeth and I stood there for like 5 minutes, staring at Rachel. But if she noticed us, she didn't let on. She didn't move or even blink, that I could see. Being ADHD and all, I could not have done that. Standing still that long would have driven me crazy. It was weird to see Rachel in gold, too. She looked like a statue of somebody famous. An actress or something. Only her eyes were normal green. Maybe if we pushed her over, Annabeth suggested. I thought that was a little mean. But Rachel didn't respond. After another few minutes, a kid in silver walked up from the hotel taxi stand. We had been taking a break. He took a pose like he was lecturing the crowd, right next to Rachel. Rachel unfroze and stepped off the tarp. Hey, Percy, she grinned. Good timing. Let's get coffee. We walked down to a place called the Java Moose on West 43rd. Rachel ordered on an espresso extreme, the kind of stuff Grover would like. Annabeth and I got fruit smoothies, and we sat at the table right under the stuffed moose. Nobody even looked twice at Rachel in her golden outfit. So, she said, it's Annabelle, right? Annabeth, Annabeth corrected. Do you always dress in gold? Not usually, Rachel said. We're raising money for our group. We do volunteer art projects for elementary kids. Because they're cutting art from the schools, you know. We do this once a month. Taking about $500 on a good weekend, but I'm guessing you don't want to talk about that. You're a half-blood too. Shh, Annabeth said. Just not to the world, how about? Nobody knows what that means, Annabeth. You'll be fine. Okay, Rachel stood up and said really loud, hey everybody, these two aren't human. They're half Greek god. Exactly. Nobody cares. Nobody even looked over. Rachel shrugged and sat down. They don't seem to care. That's not funny, Annabeth said. This isn't a joke, mortal girl. Hold it, you two, I said. Just calm down. I'm calm, Rachel insisted. Every time I'm around you, some monster attacks us. What's to be nervous about? That's true. Look, I said, I'm about the band room. I hope they didn't kick you out or anything. Nah, they asked me a lot of questions about you. I played dumb. Was it hard? Annabeth, stop. She's so jealous, bro. She's either jealous or she's just mad she's immortal. One of the two. Okay, stop, I intervened. Rachel, we've got a problem and we need your help. Rachel narrowed her eyes at Annabeth. You need my help? Annabeth stared her straw in the smoothie. Yeah, she said suddenly. Maybe. I told Rachel about the labyrinth and how we needed to find Daedalus. I told her what had happened the last few times we'd gone in. So you want me to guide you, she said, to a place I've never been. You can see through the mist, I said. Just like Ariadne. I'm betting you can see the right path. The labyrinth won't be able to fool you as easily. And if you're wrong, no one will get lost. Either way, it'll be very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. I could die? Yeah. Listen, I would say yes, but this is a crazy thing to ask. I thought you said monsters don't care about mortals. That sword of yours? Yeah, I said. Celestial bronze doesn't hurt mortals. Most monsters would ignore you, but Luke? He doesn't care. He'll use mortals, demigods, monsters, whatever, and he'll kill anyone who gets in his way. Nice guy, Rachel said. He's under the influence of a titan, Annabeth said defensively. He's been deceived. Rachel looked back and forth between us. Okay, she said. I'm in. I blinked. I didn't figure it would go so easy. Are you sure? Hey, my summer was going to be boring. This is the best offer I've gotten yet. So what do I look for? Actually, she can just tell her parents that she wants to go to summer camp. This is true. We have to find an entrance to the labyrinth, Annabeth said. There's an entrance at Camp Half-Blood, but you can't go there. It's off limits to mortals. It's off limits to mortals. She said mortals like it was some terrible condition. But Rachel just nodded. Okay, what does an entrance to the labyrinth look like? It could be anything, Annabeth said. A section of wall, a boulder, a doorway, a sewer entrance, but it would have the mark of Daedalus on it. A Greek delta, glowing in blue. Like this? Rachel drew the symbol of delta in water on our table. That's it, Annabeth said. You know Greek? No, Rachel said. She pulled a big blue plastic hairbrush from her pocket and started brushing the gold out of her hair. Let me get changed. You better come with me to the Marriott. Why? Annabeth asked. Because there's an entrance like that in the hotel basement where we store our costumes. It's got the mark of Daedalus. Okay. That was a long chapter. I forgot what it was even called. Hold on. We hire a new guide. Yeah, Percy went back. How long was that freaking chapter? 26 pages. Okay. What even all happened in that trailer? I need some more to think. That was the same chapter that Percy got back. It was the same chapter that Percy got back. Well, let me read through these comments really quickly. Yo, Del May, welcome into the chat. Nice to see you again. I haven't seen you in a minute. I don't know, but nice to see you. My best friend is on track. Track is dope. Track is the best sport. Well, no, it's not. Volleyball is the best sport, but I love track. I play softball though. L. She can see through the lies of the Jedi. The dark side of the Force clouds the Force. Just another day in New York. Rachel is the best. I've liked Rachel ever since I met her, so I'm really excited to see more of her. You're finally on before 9. Yes, I am. Is that good? It seems to be better than being... It's just when I was free usually before. But if it's better to be on stream earlier, which is honestly what it's looking at, because there's a lot more people here than usual, then I'll probably start doing that. Annabeth is pissed Rachel is approaching her territory. That's true. Annabeth is friend territorial. First, Annabeth kisses Percy. Then he gets blown out of a volcano. Then he meets Calypso. Now this with Rachel. Our girl is getting flabbergasted by clueless teenagers who has an obsession with blue. Yeah, that's true. Well, I can only drop in. I'll see you later. No, this is so sad. Alright, I'll see you, Dome. It was nice having you anyways. Yeah, I can't join after 9. It's funny. I'm the one of all my friends come to for advice when I'm straight up socially awkward dork. But hey, at least I'm useful. Hey, gotta be... The people who are socially awkward doesn't mean they don't know what they're talking about. They just can't... If you can, sometimes you can give good advice, but not put that into practice. I do that too a lot of the time. Yeah, I finish work at 8 and I go to a night job at 9. Oh, dang. You be working. You be out there. Percy returns to camp dreams of Luke capturing a lone half-blood. Quintus is working with Luke, and Percy and Annabeth find... Thank you for recapping that chapter. Dang, you go to sleep early. Bunch of nerds. I'm kidding. Thank you for recapping that chapter. But there's not much I want to mention. Like, to be honest, I don't know if I trust the Quintus being evil thing. Because he's such a flip-floppy... They've introduced him as such a flip-floppy personality that I feel like he could be working double. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Who knows? I love Percy coming back and them being like, "What the heck? You're back, Percy. You're alive. This is fucking funny." And Annabeth being pissed because she knows he was at Calypso's island because it happens here all the time, and all that. And she's like, "What?" She's thinking, "What are they doing?" But I'm just excited that my girl Rachel is in the story now because I've been waiting for her to get into the story ever since she was introduced back in the middle of Titan's Curse, and then she was just gone for the rest of that book. And she was introduced in the first chapter, and I thought she would be like the Tyson, the Thalia, where like she's introduced at the beginning of the book, isn't part of the whole book with us, and then leaves. But apparently she was introduced, and then she comes in the middle again, which is like, okay, that's a change of pace. I'm happy she's in it anyways, because I was really hoping that a seer character would be like a warrior or be important. So I'm excited that they're doing that, because it would be such a missed opportunity if they didn't, and it's really freaking cool, the whole like mortals thing, because I don't think demigods are physically stronger than mortals. Maybe they are because Percy held up the freaking sky and all, but who knows? Who freaking knows? Is there anything else I want to talk about before I go to the next one? Dude, I have single-handedly saved my friends' relationships multiple times, and I have never been in one. That's so sad, bro. I'm sad to hear it. I hope you find a relationship that you want soon. Saving someone's relationship is pretty fun, though. I'm not even gonna lie to you. What is the point of math past algebra? Like, why can't we learn about tax, bro? That's so facts. But I'm not gonna lie to you. I said the same thing. My high school had a tax class, and I was not paying attention to that shit. I was straight up not paying attention. So, they should still have that class. It should be mandatory, but like, I had the opportunity and I just kind of let it go over my head. Percy showing up in the middle of his funeral is pretty funny. It is. Well, I'm gonna go to bed. Cool thing though. I'm releasing a song here on YouTube next week for spring break if y'all interested. Oh shit. Yeah, sure, man. Just remind me. I might give it a gander, give it a listen. Especially what genre is it if you're still here? Give me one second. I gotta respond to this message. Alright. Eat one more Percy chip. Or 2 more Percy chips. Not 1 more. 1.5 more Percy chips. And we'll get it going. Writing a book? That's cool. How are you? Do you know how you're gonna get it published? Because I also want to write a book. I am also the background music slaps. Thank you. I need to tell people this. Tell my friend more, because like he made this for me. Dang, you guys be doing a lot of stuff out here. Yeah, I need to write more too, because I want to. I have a lot of novel ideas that I haven't got out yet, but I do want to start writing and publishing stuff. Filmmaking is dope. I'm already into filmmaking. That's one of my favorite things that I do. Hold on. I live not far from a city, and they have publishing places. Yeah, but I don't think you can just go up. I don't think you can just go up to the publishing places and just be like, "Hey, yo, put me in, coach." Like, I don't think that. Lo-fi beats to kill my evil tiny grandmother. That is this soundtrack. But yeah, alright. Let's get back into it. What is this? Chapter 14. The last chapter of the stream for today. This is about the longest stream I've ever done. I don't know about ever, but probably ever. And definitely for Percy Jackson. Alright. My brother duels me to the death. Damn. I don't know why Tyson would do that, but we're about to see. Maybe it's not Tyson, because Poseidon has a lot of kids. The middle door was half hidden behind a laundry bin, full of dirty hotel towels. I didn't see anything strange about it, but Rachel showed me where to look, and I recognized the faint blue symbol stretched in the metal. It hasn't been used in a long time, Annabeth said. I tried to open it once, Rachel said, just out of curiosity. It's rusted shut, though Annabeth said. It just needs the touch of a half-blood. Sure enough, as soon as Annabeth put her hand on the mark, it glowed blue. The metal door unsealed and creaked open, revealing a dark staircase leading down. Wow, Rachel looked calm, but I couldn't tell if she was pretending or not. She changed into a ratty museum of modern art t-shirt and irregular marker-colored jeans. Her blue plastic hairbrush sticking out of her pocket. Her red hair was tied back, but she still had flecks of gold in it, and traces of the gold glitter on her face. So after you, you're the guy, Annabeth said, with mock politeness. Lead on. Annabeth, be nice. She's actually about to help you right now. The stairs led down to a large brick tunnel. It was so dark I couldn't see 2 feet in front of us, but Annabeth had restocked on flashlights. As soon as we switched them on, Rachel yelped. A skeleton was grinning at us, and it wasn't human. It was huge for one thing, at least 10 feet tall, and had been strung up, chained by its wrists, ankles, so it made a kind of giant X over the tunnel. What really sent a shiver down what really sent a shiver down my back was a single black eye socket in the center of its skull. A cyclops, Annabeth said. It's very old. It's not anybody we know. It wasn't Tyson, she meant, but that didn't make me feel better. I still felt like it had been put there as a warning. Whatever could kill a grown cyclops, I didn't want to meet. You've already met things like that, Percy, but I still get it. Rachel swallowed. You have a friend who's a cyclops? Tyson, I said. My half-brother. I love that Percy's just fully admitting he's my brother now. I love that. He's come such a long way since Sea of Monsters. It's great. Your half-brother? Hopefully we'll find him down here, I said. And Grover, he's a satyr. Oh, her voice was small. Well then, we better keep moving. She stepped under the skeleton's left arm and kept walking. Annabeth and I exchanged looks. Annabeth shrugged. We followed Rachel deeper into the maze. After 50 feet, we came to a crossroads. Ahead, the brick tunnel continued. To the right, the walls were made of ancient marble slabs. To the left, the tunnel was dirt and tree roots. I pointed left. It looks like the tunnel Tyson and Grover took. Annabeth frowned. Yeah, but the architecture to the right, those old stones, that's more likely to lead to an ancient part of the maze, toward Daedalus' workshop. We need to go straight, Rachel said. Annabeth and I both looked at her. That's the least likely choice, Annabeth said. You don't see it, Rachel asked. Look at the floor. I saw nothing except well-worn bricks and mud. There's a brightness there, Rachel insisted. Very faint, but forward is the correct way. To the left, farther down the tunnel, those tree roots are moving like feelers. I don't like that. To the right, there's a trap about 20 feet down. Holes in the wall, maybe for spikes. I don't think we should risk it. I didn't see anything like she was describing, but I nodded. Okay, Rachel! Let's go! Immediately coming in clutch. You'll love to see it. You believe her? Annabeth asked. Yeah, I said. Don't you? Why wouldn't you? That's the whole reason you brought her in here. If you're gonna bring her in here and not believe her, you might as well not bring her in here at all. You know what I mean? Like what are you even talking about? Annabeth looked like she wanted to argue, but she waved at Rachel to lead on. Together we kept walking down the brick corridor. It twisted and turned, but there were no more side tunnels. We seemed to be angling down, heading deeper underground. No traps, I said anxiously. Nothing, Rachel turned her eyebrows. Should it be this easy? I don't know, I said. It never was before. So, Rachel, Annabeth said, where are you from exactly? She said it like, what planet are you from? But Rachel didn't look offended. Brooklyn. Where are you from exactly? Aren't your parents going to be worried if you're out late? Rachel exhaled. Not likely. I could be gone a week and they'd never notice. Of course. Thank you, parents. Of course, then Rick's answer is, parents don't care. You love to see it. Why not? This time Annabeth didn't sound sarcastic. Having trouble with parents was something she understood. Before Rachel could answer, there was a creaking noise in front of us, like huge doors opening. What was that? Annabeth said. I don't know, Rachel said. Metal hinges? Well, that's very helpful. I mean, what is it? Then I heard heavy footsteps shaking the corridor, coming toward us. Run? I asked. Run, Rachel agreed. We turned and fled the other way. Way we'd come, but we didn't make it 20 feet before we ran straight into some old friends. Two Dracanae snakewomen in Greek armor leveled their javelins at our chests. Standing between them was Kelly, the Imposa cheerleader. Well, well, Kelly said. No way she started her sentence with well, bro. No way this girl said, well. Could you be more of a villain? I uncapped Riptide, and Annabeth pulled her knife. Before my sword was even out of a pen form, Kelly pounced on Rachel. Her hand turned into a claw, and she had spun Rachel around, holding her tight with her talons at Rachel's neck. Taking your little mortal pet for a walk? Kelly asked me. Such fragile things, so easy to break. Behind us, the footsteps came closer. A huge form appeared out of the gloom, an 8-foot-tall Lystradonian giant with red eyes and fangs. The giant licked his lips, and when he saw us, "Can I eat them?" "No," Kelly said. "Your master will want these. They will provide a great deal of entertainment. She smiled at me. Now march, half-bloods, or you all die, starting with the mortal girl. Damn it. How did you find us? We're in the labyrinth. Do you have Ariadne's string already? Hold on. I need an edit, and because of my age, it'd be easier. I need an editor, and because of my age, it'd be easier. Because people know that they can make moolah off me. Others only get 20% of actual moolah off the book. That's not true. I'm pretty sure it's the other way around. I'm pretty sure it's the other way around, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like whoever told you that is pulling your leg. Tyson saw Percy cheating on Annabeth and started throwing hands. That's true. Annabeth loves Percy. And because I'm younger, it can make people want to use that, like, young author writes book. That's true. Younger authors that are great do wonderfully. I hope your book sells well. Same. Never considered that Percy Jackson was a manga. Where are you getting this manga thing from? Parents not being there or caring about their kids is some This is true. That is some manga anime shit. I was about to say it's an American thing too, but not really. It's more present in Japan. It was pretty much my worst nightmare, and believe me, I've had plenty of nightmares. We were marched down the tunnel, flanked by Dracane, with Kelly and the giant in the back, just in case we tried to run for it. No, just in case we tried to run for it. Nobody seemed to worry about us running forward. That was the direction they wanted us to go. Up ahead, I could see bronze doors. They were about 10 feet tall, emblazoned with a pair of crossed swords. From behind them came a muffled roar, like from a crowd. "Oh yes," said the snake woman on the left. "We'll be very popular with our host." I'd never gotten to look at Dracane up close before, and I wasn't really thrilled to have the opportunity. She would have had a beautiful face, except her tongue was forked and her eyes were yellow, and with black slits for pupils. Damn, Percy. She wore bronze armor that stopped at her waist. Below that, where her legs should have been, were two massive snake trunks, molted bronze and green. She moved by a combination of slithering and walking, as if she were on living skis. "Who's your host?" I asked. She hissed, which might have been a laugh. "Oh, you'll see. It's Luke, bro. It's gotta be Luke. You'll get along famously. He's your brother, after all. Never mind, it's Typhon. It's Typhon." My what? Immediately I thought of Tyson, but that was impossible. What was she talking? No, it's not Typhon. It's some son of Poseidon that we haven't met yet. The giant pushed past us and opened the doors. He picked up Annabeth by her shirt and said, "You stay here." 1 second. Go on. 1 second. Where was I? Where the fuck was I? Where'd I go? He picked it. Yeah. Okay, found it. He picked up Annabeth by her shirt and said, "You stay here." "Hey," she protested, but the guy was twice her size, and he'd already confiscated her knife and my sword. Kelly laughed. She still had claws at Rachel's neck. "Go on, Percy. Entertain us. We'll wait here with your friends to make sure you behave." Okay. Wait, how are you guys navigating through the labyrinth so easily? That doesn't make any sense to me because doesn't the labyrinth shift? Or do you guys have Ariadne string or something? Like, how are you doing that? Thanks. It's a future fantasy, and it's pretty much a warning book. Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. I have ideas for some of those too. It's like Fahrenheit 451. Or like I don't know, Hunger Games or something like that. Those are cool. Actually, I love books like that are like if you keep going like this will happen. Be wary of this in the future. That's dope. Rachel can see through and see a light that leads them. Yes, but the monsters wouldn't know that, right? Like They would, if they knew that mortals did that, they would have found a seer earlier, I imagine. And the monster just walked up to them and found them in the labyrinth. So, like, and now they're walking back, and I don't think Rachel's telling them where to go. So Rachel wouldn't know where to go. Just keep reading. Fine. Fine. Damn it, Anthony. I was theorying. It was my theory brain going, but fine, whatever. I'll keep reading. Jesus Christ. Where was I, actually? Kaylee laughed. She still had her claws at Rachel's neck. Go on, Percy. I'll read that already. I looked at Rachel. I'm sorry. I'll get you out of this. She nodded as much as she could with the demon at her throat. That would be nice. She's like, I've been in here 5 whole minutes. I've been in here 5 minutes. The Jacane prodded me toward the doorway at javelin point, and I walked out onto the floor of an arena. I guess it wasn't the largest arena I'd ever been in, but it seemed pretty spacious considering the whole place was underground. The dirt floor was circular, just big enough that you could drive a car around the rim. If you pulled it really tight in the center of the arena, the dirt floor was circular, just big enough that you could drive a car around the rim if you pulled it really tight. In the center of the arena, a fight was going on between a giant and a centaur. The centaur looked panicked. He was galloping around his enemy, using his sword and shield, while the giant swung a javelin inside of a telephone pole, and the crowd cheered. The first tier of seats was 12 feet above the arena. I don't know if you can hear that yelling in the background, making me mad. Anyways, the first tier of seats was 12 feet above the arena. Plain stone benches wrapped all the way around, and every seat was full. There were giants, Dracanae, demigods, telekineses, and stranger things. Anyways. Bat-winged bones, and bat-winged demons, and creatures that seemed half human and half you name it. Bird, reptile, insect, mammal. But the creepiest thing were the skulls. The arena was full of them. They ringed the edge of the railing. 3-foot high piles of them decorated the steps between the benches. They grinned from the pikes at the back of the stands and hung on the chains from the ceiling like horrible chandeliers. Some of them looked very old, nothing but bleached white bone. Others looked a lot fresher. I'm not going to describe them. Believe me, you don't want me to. In the middle of all this, proudly displayed on the side of the spectator's wall, was something that made no sense to me. A green banner, the trident of Poseidon in the center. What was that doing in a horrible place like this? Above the banner, sitting in a seat of honor, was an old enemy. Luke, I said. I'm not sure he could hear me over the roar of the crowd, but he smiled coldly. He was wearing camouflage pants and a white t-shirt. And a bronze chestplate, just like I'd seen in my dreams. But he still wasn't wearing his sword, which I thought was strange. Next to him sat the largest giant I'd ever seen, much larger than the one on the floor fighting the centaur. The giant next to Luke must have been 15 feet tall. Easy, and so wide he took up 3 seats. He wore only a loincloth like a sumo wrestler. His skin was dark red and tattooed with a blue wave designs. I figured he must have been Luke's new bodyguard or something. There was a cry from the arena floor, and I jumped back as the centaur crashed to the dirt beside me. He met my eyes, pleadingly, help. I reached for my sword, but it had been taken from me and hadn't reappeared in my pocket. What the fuck? How did that even happen, Percy? The centaur struggled to get up as the giant approached, his javelin ready. A taloned hand gripped my shoulder. If you all your friends' lives, my Dracanae guard said, you won't interfere. This isn't your fight. Wait your turn. The centaur couldn't get up. One of his legs was broken. The giant put his huge foot in the horseman's chest and raised the javelin. He looked up at Luke. The crowd cheered, death! Death! Luke didn't do anything, but the tattooed sumo dude sitting next to him rose. He smiled at the centaur, who was whimpering, please, no. The sumo dude held out his hand and gave the thumbs down sign. I closed my eyes as the gladiator giant thrust his javelin. When I looked again, the centaur was gone. disintegrating to ashes. All that was left was a single hoof, which the giant took as a trophy and showed the crowd. They roared their approval. Damn. Damn. I have no clue. I'm guessing Rick just wrote and went, no one will think about this. Man's asking for spoilers? Okay. I mean, I'm just gonna say my thoughts out loud, right? I'm not like actually asking you for questions. I don't want, when I ask questions, I don't want them to be answered. I'm just asking them out loud so you know what I'm thinking, right? Yeah, so don't give me spoilers. I gotta go. Definitely be back when I can. All right, Cabin 7, nice to have you as always. Cue Stranger Things in show. I wish I had a soundboard that I could, but I'd probably get flagged for that by Netflix instantly, to be honest with you. Sword will always reappear in his pocket unless gifted to another or surrendered. That's not true. It's not surrendered because he only said given to another. Because Percy wouldn't be expecting it to reappear in his pocket if it was surrendered. You know what I mean? A gate opened at the opposite end of the stadium, and the giant marched out in triumph. In the stands, the sumo dude raised his hands with silence. Good entertainment, he bellowed, but nothing I haven't seen before. What else do you have, Luke, son of Hermes? Luke's jaw tightened. I couldn't tell. I could tell he didn't like being called son of Hermes. He hated his father. He rose calmly to his feet. His eyes glittered. In fact, he seemed to be in a pretty good mood. Lord Antaeus, Luke said, loud enough for the crowd to hear, you have been an excellent host. Would have been... Is Antaeus the person? We'd be happy to amuse you, to repay the favor of passing through your territory. A favor I have not yet granted, Antaeus growled. I want entertainment. Luke bowed. I believe I have something better than centaurs to fight in your arena. Now, I have a brother of yours, he pointed at me. Percy Jackson, son of Poseidon. Love when people say his full name. I don't know why, just a cool last name. The crowd began jeering at me and throwing stones, most of which I dodged, but one caught me in the cheek and made a good-sized cut. Dang, my boy was out there. Moving. A son of Poseidon? Then he should fight well, or die well. If his death pleases you, Luke said, will you let our armies cross your territory? Luke, I don't think you want to be doing that, because prophecy and all, he could still destroy Olympus. He's not a son of the big three. But maybe you've met Nico at this point, so maybe you don't care. Because, right, Kronos, I think at this point, Kronos also thinks that Percy's unturnable. I'm pretty sure. Perhaps, Antaeus said. Luke didn't look too pleased about the perhaps. He glared at me, as if warning me that I'd better die in a really spectacular way, or I'd be in big trouble. Luke, Annabeth yelled, stop this, let us go. Luke seemed to notice her for the first time. He looked stunned for a moment. Annabeth. Enough time for the females to fight afterward. Enough time for the females to fight afterward, Antaeus interrupted. First, Percy Jackson. What weapons will you choose? The Dracane pushed me to the middle of the arena. I stood up at Antaeus. How can you be a son of Poseidon? Antaeus laughed, and the rest of the crowd laughed too. I am his favorite son. Antaeus boomed. Behold my temple to the Earthshaker, built from the skulls of all those who I have killed in his name. Your skull shall join them. I don't know about that one, Chief. I don't know about that one. I don't know if you're his favorite son. Mostly because the book is called Percy Jackson, but also because I don't think Poseidon gives a shit about that. But we'll see. I stared in horror at the skulls, hundreds of them, and the banner of Poseidon. How could this be a temple for my dad? My dad was a nice guy. He never asked me for a Father's Day card, much less somebody's skull. Oh, he thinks his dad is nice. I'm not inclined to disagree, but I know Poseidon's done some fucked up shit. He could be nice now. So Percy likes his dad. That's cool. What is it? What was I gonna say in my head? I don't know. It was something about Poseidon. Oh yeah. Like, Percy doesn't care that he can't interfere because of godly shit. Like, gods can't be gods in their kids' lives. That's just how it works. Percy! Annabeth yelled. His mother is Gaia. Her Lynx-Dragonian captor clamped his hand over her mouth. His mother is Gaia, the Earth Goddess. Annabeth was trying to tell me that this was important. Annabeth was trying to tell me that this was important, but I didn't know why. Maybe just because the guy had 2 godly parents. That would make him even harder to kill. You're crazy, Antaeus said. Antaeus, I said. If you think this is a good tribute, you know nothing about Poseidon. The crowd screamed insults at me, but Antaeus raised his hands for silence. Weapons, he insisted, and then we will see how you die. You have axes, shields, nets, flamethrowers. Just my sword, I said. Laughter erupted from the monsters, but immediately Riptide appeared in my hands. Some of the voices in the crowd turned nervous. The bronze blade glowed with faint light. Round 1, Antaeus announced. The gates opened, and Dracane slithered out. She had a trident in one hand and a weighted net in the other, the classic gladiator style. I trained against these weapons at camp for years. She jabbed at me experimentally. I stepped away. She threw her net, hoping to tangle my sword hand, but I sidestepped easily. I sliced her spear in half and stabbed Riptide through a chink in her armor. With a painful wail, she vaporized into nothing, and the cheering of the crowd died. No! Antaeus bellowed. Too fast! You must wait for the kill. Only I give that order. I glanced over at Annabeth and Rachel. I had to find a way to get them free. Maybe distract their guards. Nice job, Percy. Luke smiled. You've gotten better with the sword. I'll grant you that. Percy's not about to be for your entertainment, bro. He's about to clap your whole shit. My boy Percy is smooth with it too. He is flexing on him with the moves. What is it? Round 2, Antaeus yelled, and slower this time. More entertainment. Wait for my call before killing anybody or else. The gates opened again. And this time, a young warrior came out. He was a little older than me, about 16. He had glossy black hair, and his left eye was covered with an eye patch. He was thin and wiry, so his Greek armor hung on him loosely. He stabbed his sword into the dirt and adjusted his shield straps and pulled on his horsehair helmet. Who are you? I asked. Ethan Nakamura said, I have to kill you. Why are you doing this? Hey, I watched you from the stands. Stop talking and fight already. The others took up the call. I have to prove myself, Ethan told me. Only way to join up. Ethan, you're about to die, bro. I don't know if Percy will kill a person because he's racist like that, but like, still, Ethan, you do not want to go up against Percy Jackson. It's just not something you want in your life. Okay, ask your questions and I will pretend to be more clueless than Percy in the Lightning Thief. Please do. I'm pretty sure Chiron said that it wouldn't reappear if it wouldn't reappear if it was surrendered to an enemy. I don't remember him saying that. I only remember you can only give it away. And surrendered also means giving it away, by the way. Like, you can't have it. Nobody. Surrender doesn't mean you take something from somebody. You know, like, you have to willingly give it away in order for it to be surrendered. So I'm sure you're meaning it as like, if he takes it, then it's not his anymore. But that's just not true because it needs to be given. His powers are doubled since the last time they. My powers have doubled since the last time we fought, Count. Yeah. And with that, he charged. Our swords met in midair, and the crowd roared. It didn't seem right. I didn't want to fight to entertain a bunch of monsters, but Ethan Nakamura wasn't giving me a choice. He pressed forward. He was good. He'd never been at Camp Pathfinder as far as I knew, but he'd been trained. He parried my strike and almost slammed me with his shield, but I jumped back. He slashed. I rolled to one side, and we exchanged thrusts and parries. getting a feel for each other's fighting style. I tried to keep on Ethan's blind side, but it didn't help much. He'd apparently been fighting with only one eye for a long time, because he was excellent at guarding his left. Blood, the monsters cried. My opponents glanced at the stands. That was his weakness, I realized. He needed to impress them. I didn't. He yelled an angry battle cry and charged at me. But I parried his blade and backed away, letting him come after me. Boo! Antia said, stand and fight! Ethan pressed me, but I had no trouble defending. Even without a shield, he was dressed for defense. Sorry, I had no trouble defending, even without a shield. He was dressed for defense. Heavy armor and a shield, which made it very tiring to play offense. I was a softer target, but I was also lighter and faster. The crowd went nuts, yelling complaints and throwing rocks. We'd been fighting for almost 5 minutes and there was no blood. Finally, Ethan made his mistake. He tried to jab at my stomach. And I locked his sword hilt in mine and twisted his... And I locked his sword hilt in mine and twisted his sword and dropped into the dirt. Before he could recover, I slammed the butt of my sword into his helmet and pushed him down. His heavy armor helped me more than him. His heavy armor helped me more than him. He fell on his back, dazed and tired. I put the tip of my sword on his chest. Get it over with, Ethan groaned. I looked up at Antaeus. His face red was stony with displeasure, but he held up his hands and put his thumbs down. Forget it. I sheathed my sword. Don't be a fool, Ethan groaned. They'll just kill us both. I offered my hand reluctantly. He took it. I helped him up. No one dishonors the games, Antaeus bellowed. Your heads shall be both tributes to Poseidon. I looked at Ethan. When you see your chance, run. Then I turned back to Antaeus. Why don't you fight me yourself? If you've got Dad's favor, come down here and prove it. Oh, Poseidon's getting away between his two children. Let's go. The monsters grumbled in the stands. Antaeus looked around and apparently realized he had no choice. He couldn't say no without looking like a coward. I'm the greatest wrestler in the world, boy, he warned. I have been wrestling since the first pancration. Pancration? I asked. He means fighting to the death, he said. No rules, no holds barred. It used to be an Olympic sport. Thanks for the tip, I said. Don't mention it. Rachel was watching me with wide eyes. Amber shook her head apathetically. The Lynx Dragonian's hand still clamped over her mouth. Oh yeah, this is the first time Rachel's seeing this shit, like, ever. She's never seen, like, Greek fighting before, like, straight up, like, battle, and especially Percy, like, Percy battling, and him just, like, finessing the fuck out of people. Like, he's, like, he's so good now, dude. He's so good, it's not even funny. I poured it over to Antaeus. Winner takes all. I win, we all go free. You win, we die. Swear upon the river Styx. He's learning. He's learning. He's making him swear upon the river Styx. This is his second deal this book. Antaeus laughed. This shouldn't take long. I swear to your terms. I love that. Swearing upon the river Styx is a binding contract. He leaped off the railing into the arena. Good luck, Ethan told me. You'll need it. Then he backed up quickly. Antaeus cracked his knuckles. Let's go, Percy. I'm so excited for this. He grinned, and I saw that even his teeth were etched in wave patterns, which must have made brushing after meals a real pain. Weapons, he asked. I'll stick with my sword. You? He held up his huge hands and wiggled his fingers. I don't need anything else. Master Luke, you referee this one? Luke smiled down at me with pleasure. Bro, Luke, you're about to be so disappointed by the fade this Percy's about to run on this dude. By the fade Percy's about to run, bro. Percy has come a long way since Sea of Monsters. He really has, man. But you are better than... are you better than John Cena or The Rock? No, he's not. Because he can't even see John Cena, bro. He won't even be able to see him. And he definitely can't smell what The Rock's cooking. That ass whooping is what he'll be cooking. Antaeus lunged. I rolled under his legs and stabbed him in the back. Damn, Percy. He is finessing the man already. He yelled. where blood should have come out. It was a spout of sand, and I'd busted the side of an hourglass. He spilled into the dirt floor, and the dirt collected around his leg, almost like a cast. When the dirt fell away, the wound was gone. He charged again. Fortunately, I had some experience fighting giants. I dodged sideways this time and stabbed him under the arm. Riptide's blade was buried to the hilt in his ribs. Dang, 1 second. Fortunately, I had some experience fighting giants. I dodged sideways and stabbed him under the arm. Riptide's hilt was buried. Riptide's blade was buried in the hilt. Was buried to the hilt in his ribs. That was good news. The bad news was that it was wrenched out of my hands when the giant turned, and I was thrown across the arena, weaponless. Damn. Okay. Shit. And Teus bellowed in pain, and I waited for him to disintegrate. No monster had ever withstood a direct hit from my blade like that. Well, he's not a monster, is he? The celestial bronze blade had to be destroying his essence, but Teus groped for the hilt and pulled up the sword and tossed it behind me. More sand poured from the wound, but again the earth rose up to cover him. Dirt coated his body all the way to his shoulders. As soon as the dirt spilled away, Teus was fine. Now you see why I never lose, demigod, Teus gloated. Come here and let me crush you. I'll make it quick. Teus stood between me and my sword. Desperately, I glanced to either side and I caught Annabeth's eye. The earth, I thought. What had Annabeth trying to tell me? Teus' mother was Gaia, the Earth Mother, the most ancient goddess of all. Teus' father might have been Poseidon, but Gaia was keeping him alive. I couldn't hurt him as long as he was touching the ground. I tried to skirt him around, but Teus anticipated my move. He blocked my path, chuckling. He was just toying with me now. He had me cornered. I looked up at the chains hanging from the ceiling, dangling the skulls of his enemies on the hooks. Suddenly I had an idea. Let's go. I faded on the other side, and Teus blocked me, and the crowd jeered and screamed to Teus to finish me off, but he was having too much fun. Puny boy, he said, not a worthy son of the sea god. I felt my pen return to my pocket, but Teus wouldn't know about that. He would think Riptide was still in the dirt behind me. He would think my goal was to get my sword. It wasn't much of an advantage, but it was all I had. I mean, it is an advantage. It's at least one, if you're smart, guaranteed surprise attack. I charged straight ahead, crouching low, so he would think I was going to roll between his legs. While he was stooping, ready to catch me like a grounder. I jumped for all I was worth, kicking off his forearm, scrambling up his shoulder like it was a ladder, placing my shoe on his head. He did the natural thing. He straightened indignantly and yelled, "Hey!" I pushed off his force to catapult me toward the ceiling. I caught the top of the chain and the skulls and hooks jangling beneath me. I wrapped my legs around the chain, just like I used to do at the ropes course in gym class. I drew Riptide and sawed off the chain next to me. "Come down here, coward!" Teus bellowed. He tried to grab me, but I was just out of reach. Hanging on for dear life, I yelled, "Come up and get me! Or are you too slow and fat?" Percy Jackson, the king of shit talking. He howled and made another grab for me. He caught a chain and tried to pull himself up. When he was struggling, I lowered my sawed-off chain hook first. It took me 2 tries, but I finally snagged in Teus' loincloth. Wait, hold on, what the fuck happened? He howled and made another grab for me. He caught a chain and tried to pull himself up. While he was struggling, I lowered my sawed-off chain. Hook first. It took me 2 tries, but I finally snagged in Teus' loincloth. Okay, I get it. He yelled. Quickly, I slipped the free chain through the fastening link on my own chain. Pulled it taut and secured it the best way. Inserted it the best I could. And Teus tried to slip back to the ground, but his butt stayed suspended by his loincloth. He had to hold on to the other chains with both hands to avoid getting flipped upside down. I prayed the loincloth and the chain would hold up for a few seconds. While Antias cursed and flailed, I scrambled around the chains, swinging and cutting like I was some kind of crazed monkey. I made loops with hooks and metal links. While Antias cursed, I scrambled around the chains, swinging and cutting like I was some kind of crazed monkey. I made loops with hooks and metal links. Yeah, I don't know how I did it. My mom always said I had a gift for getting stuff tangled up. Plus, I was desperate to save my friends. Anyway, he really used the power of friendship to tie this man. Anyway, within a couple of minutes, the giant was suspended above the ground, hopelessly snarled in chains and hooks. I dropped to the floor, panting and sweating. My hands were raw from climbing down. "Get me down!" Antias demanded. "Free him!" Luke ordered. "He's our host!" Do I give a shit, Luke? He's not my host. He's my captor, bro. Let me read this again just so I know what happened. I slipped through the chain to the fastening link, pulled it taut and secured it best I could. Antias tried to slip back to the ground, but his butt stayed suspended by his loincloth. He had to hold on to the other chains with both hands to avoid getting flipped upside down. I prayed that the loincloth and the chain would hold up for a few more seconds. While Antias cursed and fled, I scrambled around the chain, swinging and cutting like I was some kind of crazed monkey. I made loops with hooks, Jesus Christ, and metal links. Okay, so Percy was just flipping around this man like a... Okay, nah, I get it. He was freaking flailing on this dude. I uncapped Riptide. I'll free him. And I stabbed the giant in the stomach, and he bellowed and sand poured out, but he was too far out to touch the earth and the dirt. Did not rise to help him. Antias just dissolved, pouring out bit by bit, until there was nothing left but empty swinging chains, a really big loincloth on a hook, and a bunch of grinning skulls dancing above me, like they finally had something to smile about. Damn! "Jackson!" Luke yelled. "I should have killed you long ago!" "You tried," I reminded him. "Let us go, Luke. We had a sworn agreement with Antaeus. I'm the winner." He did just what I expected. He said, "Antaeus is dead. His oath dies with him. But since I'm feeling merciful today, I'll have you killed quickly." Should have had Luke swear on the river Styx too. Did not think this through. He pointed out Annabeth. "Spare the girl." His voice quavered just a little. I would speak to her before our great triumph. Every monster in the audience drew a weapon or extended its claws. We were trapped, hopelessly outnumbered, when I felt something in my pocket, a freezing sensation growing colder and colder. The dog whistle. My fingers closed around it. For days I avoided using Quintus's gift. It had to be a trap, but now I had no choice. I took it out of my pockets and blew it. I mean, you had no choice before, with like the mountain and the lava and stuff, but I guess you decided not to. I mean, I took it out of my pocket and blew. It made no audible sound as it shattered into shards of ice, melting in my hand. Luke laughed. What was that supposed to do? From behind me came a surprised yelp. The Lynxtragonian giant. Yeah, the Lynxtragonian giant who'd been guarding Annabeth flew past me and smashed into the wall. "Roof!" Kelly, the imposer, screamed as a 500-pound black mastiff picked her up like a chew toy and tossed her through the air straight into Luke's lap. "Let's freaking go!" Mrs. O'Leary with the dub. Mrs. O'Leary snarled, and the two Dracanae guards backed away. For a moment, the monsters in the audience were caught completely by surprise. "Let's go!" I yelled at my friends. "Heal, Mrs. O'Leary." "The far exit," Rachel cried. "That's the right way." Ethan Nakamura took his cue. Together we raced across the arena and out the far exit. Mrs. O'Leary right behind us. As we ran, I could hear the disorganized sounds of an entire army trying to jump out of the stands and followed us. And that is the last chapter for the day. Have we recruited a new person? With Ethan Nakamura? That's what it seems like we did. Seems like he's following us. But also, bro, my girl Rachel did not get enough time to just walk through that thing. But honestly, if they gave her the time, she probably would have freaking, what is it? She probably would have found the labyrinth instantly. So we had to have this Luke interaction now, which was cool. That Percy just like pulled up, killed 2 people, and then left. He killed their head, bro. I don't know when Luke is gonna stop messing with this man. He's like, I should have killed you long ago. You tried, but need I remind you, I'm Percy fucking Jackson, bro. I'm Percy Jackson, and I will fade anybody on sight, and I will finesse the fuck out of them, because I'm just that man. What is it? Oh shit, sand. The weakness of Percy and Anakin. Nah, it's Percy's strength, bro. Because he gains powers from being on the beach. This was savage, and without the power of the sea, he hung him up by his underwear and stabbed him to death. I know, dude. That was like, bro. They're like, I am Poseidon's favorite son. I built things to him out of his skulls, and he's like, bro, my dad don't give a shit. Let's see who he favors in this fight. And Poseidon chose. Poseidon chose Percy. Sand is only a half a beach. Yes. But Percy is the king of all beaches. Sorry, the prince of all beaches. So he gets power from it. But with the Mrs. O'Leary dub coming in, like, I think that's confirmation that Quintus actually isn't a bad dude. I think that's what it is. But obviously you can never be too sure. And also, I'm really curious to see what happens with Ethan Nakamura. And does that mean that Luke lost a piece of Kronos because he doesn't have enough people to bring it back up? Is that what that means? Does that mean even if Nico, or since he's not oriented? To be honest, I don't even know, Luke, why you went through this shit. Like, since he's not oriented, bro, into your thing, then you didn't have a piece of Kronos. But I guess it is enough, because I don't think Luke would waste like getting that one piece on this kid, to be completely honest with you. So I think he did have the piece because of that kid, but I don't know I wonder if he loses it because the kid left. I wonder if that's how it works. And if Nico joins Percy and Luke, it's not gonna be enough. Like, he needs Ethan back. Yeah, he do be pulling beaches. That's facts. But alright, these were a great set of 4 chapters. I get why you wanted me to read 11 through 13. I don't get why you wanted me to read 14. But I still enjoyed 14. 14 was good. I always enjoy a Percy ass me to read chapter. I love that Rachel's there. Love that a lot. I also just still love, a favorite chapter from this batch is still the Calypso chapter. Man, that was just like, what a freaking scene, dude. What a moment. Like, that's like, oh man. That's like the tragic tale of a hero. Like, all heroes that come to her must leave. And Percy hates it. Yeah, 14 was just an example of how Percy has leveled up since the last time we saw him. Yeah. And I like that, though. It was another small moment of, like, who does Poseidon actually favor? And it's Percy. And it's like, since the gods operate on implied logic, anytime you mention one of them and say something like that, you can be sure that the gods chose. That's just how this is how it works. It's like, let's see if the gods choose, and because of how the gods have been set up, like, yeah, I know that's how it works. I don't have to be a question. Did Poseidon actually do anything? He did something. He for sure weighed his favor. Because gods weigh favor in all matters. But yeah, that is gonna have to do it for this stream, though. We have been streaming for 3 hours and 35 minutes. This is by far my longest stream. Not by too much far, but still by far my longest stream I've ever done. I'm honestly tired. I want to eat. I want to lay down. I want to do some other shiz. It was nice meeting with you guys. I don't know if I'll be streaming. I probably won't be streaming tomorrow, but I want to try to stream on Sunday. But I'll see if I can do that. I think I'm also gonna be busy on Saturday. But also we are gonna be streaming earlier on Saturday as well. That's why I'm not gonna be streaming. We're gonna be streaming earlier than usual. We're gonna be streaming a game with the whole squad. I don't know what game it is gonna be yet, but if you guys want to see me play games, not just read and do shit and just like chill, it'll be a much less focused stream. It's just gonna be a bunch of fun. For that, then be sure to join for that and stuff on Saturday, and then we'll get the Percy Jackson again afterwards. Yeah, but I will return for chapters 16 through 20, which will be an even longer stream, I have no doubt. And we will read. I'm gonna read 15 on my own. And 16 through 20 is definitely the ones I need to read. Yes, on stream, like all of those, I can do it. I'm just like, we need a confirmation. It was funny how he was bragged on being Poseidon's favorite, but used Gaia's powers. Exactly. That's how you know, because he was just making that shit up. She's making shit up, for sure. If nobody says anything, I'm just gonna confirm. Yeah, 16 through 20. Okay, cool. But all right, yeah, that's gonna do it for this stream, guys. Thank you everybody for joining. I appreciate you joining. I appreciate everybody who joined. It was a lot of fun. It's always a lot more fun reading with you guys. And reading Percy Jackson is a lot of great chapters. We're getting closer to the end. We're close to the end of Battle Labyrinth, and then Last Olympian, and then we'll be done with the first series. So I'm very excited. But yeah, okay, that's gonna be the end. Thank you everybody for joining once again, and until next time, end of stream.